He vows to entrust his very life to his lord, eyes glowing with resolve. But the chilling reply comes, "Instead of your worthless life, I'll take your ear." Elsewhere, a bloodied man desperately pants, "Please, take me in." Beneath the dark sky, he declares, "I wish to become stronger. Stronger than anyone else," he states, facing a shadowed, imposing figure. Looking up at the scarred man, he begs, "Please teach me, master." The master remains silent, observing the kneeling, injured supplicant. With a desperate plea, a sword suddenly hurtles through the air. The supplicant is violently thrown back, his own blade knocked from his grasp. The master stands over him, issuing a challenge. "One strike. Withstand just one." The master agrees, "I'll take you in," as the bloodied supplicant stammers his thanks. Later, in a vast courtyard, the master inquires about his new student's recovery. The student, now bandaged, admits he underestimated the master, despite his own Draken aura. He ponders, however, as he recalling the overwhelming power. A colossal, glowing eye looms in his memory, making him question if the master is truly his peer. Sweat drips down his face, the sheer pressure from the master is immense. Gripping his sword, he admits, "I can barely even breathe," facing his new teacher. The master, crackling with dark energy, readies a strike. Mirrored by the student's own fierce stance, their blades meet in a furious, high-speed clash, testing the student's resolve. Sparks fly violently as steel grinds against steel in the intense exchange. A sword whirls with blinding speed, deflecting an unseen force near a pillar. The master's blade slams into the earth, kicking up a cloud of dust. Liam Stone, pinned to the ground, stares up as the master taunts, "Is that all you've got?" The master gazes down, his expression cold as he remarks, "How miserable." Standing over his student, the master acknowledges, "I can tell you're determined. But it would be best for you to give up on Valhalla," he advises as Liam cries out, Lord Zeke." Zeke internally considers Liam's likely rejection by Jaqen and his precarious position. He muses that Liam's pride is understandable, yet a flicker of doubt crosses his face. A stark thought interrupts, even sulfur monoxide, hinting at a deeper consideration. Liam desperately clutches Zeke's leg, prompting Zeke to wonder about his past ruin. Zeke recalls his own rise, eventually becoming the renowned mercenary king. Tears streaming, Liam desperately pleads, "Please, give me one more chance, Lord Zeke." Zeke observes Liam's unwavering resolve, noting he doesn't intend to give up. "Fine, I'll give you a chance," Zeke concedes, as Liam looks up in disbelief. But Zeke, sword in hand, adds a chilling caveat on one condition. He reminds Liam of his earlier desperate vows to mutilate himself if asked. A heavy hand, tinged with dark energy, falls upon Liam's shoulder. Then Zeke's voice trails off, the air thick with dreadful anticipation. The horrifying condition is revealed. "Cut off your right arm." Liam's eyes widen in sheer terror, the demand echoing in his mind. Zeke taunts, "What's wrong? You value your right arm that much?" He internally scoffs, believing no sane man would make such a sacrifice. "If you can't do it, then get out of here," Zeke declares from afar. Zeke watches, sword in hand, as Liam remains kneeling, a silent tension filling the air. A close-up on Zeke's eye reveals his confusion. I don't know why he's so desperate. As Liam trembles, Zeke offers a sliver of hope, "You'll be able to reach red." Suddenly, Liam's sword tip slams into the ground, shocking Zeke. With a guttural cry, Liam raises his blade, poised to sever his own limb. "This crazy bastard," Zeke yells, as Liam brings the sword down with furious resolve. A single, glistening drop falls, marking the horrifying moment. Zeke flashes forward, his blade deflecting Liam's downward swing at the last second. Liam's sword is sent flying, clattering uselessly away from him. Stunned and breathless, Liam clutches his unharmed arm, utterly bewildered. Zeke grabs Liam's tunic, his expression furious and incredulous. "Have you lost your goddamn mind?" Zeke demands. "What if I went back on my word?" Liam lowers his gaze, a profound sadness in his eyes as he considers. He murmurs, "Well, it's because I might lose something more important to me than my arm." Zeke thrusts the sword back to Liam, warning, "Do something this foolish again, and I'll toss you out." Liam's face lights up. Lord Zeke, "Then, does that mean?" Zeke grins, "Hurry up, Liam. What would people think if my subordinate were missing an ear?" Later, in an opulent hall, Zeke and Liam sit down for a serious discussion. Liam touches his ear, recalling Zeke's jest about his subordinate missing one. He questions using a valuable potion, but Zeke calls it an investment in him. Zeke calmly places his teacup down, the emblem on his glove visible. Getting to the heart of it, Zeke asks, "So, what is it?" Liam ponders. "What is it that you value more than right arm? No, more than life." With hands clasped tight, Liam reveals, "It's my mother." He recounts how his mother collapsed with a high fever after Jaqen abandoned him. Zeke listens intently as Liam describes her body covered in red spots, weakening daily. Liam bows low, explaining local healers are stumped as Zeke probes, so, why Valhalla? Zeke muses, right? Valhalla students and their family are offered the greatest medical treatments. He dips his quill, preparing to write down crucial information. Zeke repeats Liam's description, rose-like red spots, as he jots it down. He meticulously lists the symptoms, periodic high fevers and red spots all over the body. A chilling premonition appears. 5 years later, the entire central continent will be plagued by the rose disease, showing a victim covered in glowing lesions. This highly contagious illness with a high fatality rate will claim countless lives. Yet a radical treatment will eventually be invented, bringing the plague to an end. Zeke hands Liam a note. This is the method for producing the medicine to heal your mother's illness. Liam, stunned, asks, the healers didn't even know the disease's name, so how do you know this? My lord. Zeke begins his explanation, mentioning the genius alchemist brothers Al and Jeff. He recounts how these brothers invented the treatment, but greedy alchemists profited, so the brothers revealed the method publicly. Zeke simply states, let's just say I know an alchemist, a slight smile on his face. Looking down at Liam, Zeke says, now then, since you have the treatment method, you have no need to go to Valhalla or to be my subordinate. Liam rises abruptly, declaring, not at all. With fierce determination, Liam states, my life already belongs to you, Lord Zeke. Zeke slams his fist on the table, clearly taken aback by Liam's unwavering declaration. Liam bows deeply, hand to his chest. I swear my lifelong loyalty to you, my lord. Zeke smirks, thinking, an oath of loyalty. Having the mercenary king from the past life as my subordinate is quite reassuring. Zeke warns, if you lag behind, I'll abandon you, so follow after me well. To which Liam eagerly agrees. A new day dawns, or perhaps dust settles, over a grand academy. Inside a dimly lit office, a voice from outside asks, yes, what is it? Cadet Owen stands respectfully, responding, yes, Dean. The Dean, a stern man with an impressive mustache, strokes it thoughtfully, demanding, your reason. Owen confidently states the current first years, including great family scions and pure-blood awakeners, are exceptionally skilled. He suggests last year's exam difficulty would be an inadequate measure for this talented cohort. The Dean, acknowledging Owen's insight as a child of Zimmons, agrees to consider his proposal. Cadet Owen respectfully departs, closing the grand office doors behind him. Alone, the Dean lets out a thoughtful sigh, leaning back in his chair. Gazing out the window, the Dean muses, I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. The Dean gazes out the window, thinking, that boy thinks so similarly to him. Meanwhile, Zeke also reflects on strategy, considering any future problems. Recalling a past decisive action, he smirks, concluding internally, it would be best to nip it in the bud. Finally, the semester exam day of the dungeon exploration dawns. The dungeon exploration exam at Draker Academy. Pairs must escape a random, difficult dungeon within a time limit. Zeke asks his partner, are you nervous, Liam? Who admits, yes, I am a little nervous. That's a given, Zeke remarks. A suitable amount of tension will guard against both mistakes and arrogance. Nearby, one cadet sweats profusely under pressure, while two others exchange smirks. Next, Zeke Draker and Liam Stone. An instructor calls out, and Liam eagerly affirms, yes, my lord. But just as they prepare to enter, Zeke raises a hand, sharply commanding, wait. Zeke gestures to the other cadets. You guys will go that way, leaving them puzzled. The two cadets walk towards a different dungeon entrance as directed by Zeke. The instructor watches this exchange, his eyes narrowing in suspicion. Hurry up. What are you doing, cadet? The instructor impatiently asks Zeke. Zeke smirks slightly, a knowing look on his face as he faces the instructor. Yes, I'll do as ordered, Zeke replies before he and Liam also head off. Though difficulty varies, these exam dungeons are managed by Drakers, so danger is minimal. Escaping is key. Each group receives a timer upon entry, with a total of 96 hours to complete the task. Basic battle skills are also graded. Extra points are awarded for monster heads. However, exiting the dungeon is paramount. Failure to escape within the time limit means a failing grade. Zeke tells Liam to rest, assuring him he can stay awake for days. Liam reluctantly agrees, and Zeke promises to wake him if trouble arises. By the crackling campfire, Zeke keeps watch while Liam sleeps in the tent. 16 hours in, Zeke checks his watch, noting he's been awake for a grueling 90 hours. He recalls that his infinite stamina only restores physical, not mental energy. Mental fatigue is a real threat, so minimizing risks in the dungeon is crucial. Tiny bells jingle softly, part of their makeshift alert system. Zeke decides he'll need to switch guard duty with Liam soon. Suddenly, a larger bell clangs, its sound cutting through the quiet. Zeke's eyes snap shut, a tense moment as an alarm is triggered. The sharp clang of the alarm bell echoes through the desolate, snowy ruins. A tattered red banner, emblazoned with a golden lion, whips in a spectral wind. Visions of a harsh, icy mountain peak flash before Zeke's eyes. Then, a glimpse of flowing white hair amidst a chaotic, fiery scene. The dream culminates in a horrifying image. A white-haired figure, fallen and bloodied in the snow. Asterisk clang. Asterisk the bell's sound cuts through the nightmare. Zeke gasps, jolting awake, sweat beading on his forehead from the vivid dream. He sits by the campfire, the silence of the dungeon pressing in around him. Damn it, that dream again, Zeke mutters, covering his face with a weary hand. His eyes then snap open with realization. Wait, I'm sure I heard a bell. Zeke's eyes dart towards the distant archway, confirming the bell wasn't a dream. He swiftly douses the campfire with a blast of water magic. Wake up, Liam, enemy, Zeke commands, heading out to scout. Don't light the fire. Zeke decides against using his dragon eyes. Adjusting to the darkness is less risky for a long exam. A faint, acrid smell reaches him. The scent of sulfur. No way. He recalls creatures reeking of sulfur, hunting in packs, rank 3 monsters. The horrifying truth dawns, the dog from hell, the hellhound. In my past life, Raina hunted an orc. Zeke thinks, I didn't expect hellhounds here. But then a thought strikes him. Wait, something's odd. Even a pack leader is an asterisk, that asterisk heavy. Zeke draws his sword, its polished blade glinting in the dim dungeon light. The sword's reflection hints at an immense foe, Zeke deduces, judging from the echoes. It sounds like it weighs several tons. Is it a mutant? His eyes widen in disbelief, a bead of sweat forming as he thinks, that's insane. A sudden, powerful blast sends Zeke flying backwards, his sword slipping from his grasp. Mid-air, Zeke twists, his hand desperately reaching and gripping his sword's hilt. He slams the sword into the ground to halt his momentum, dust and debris exploding outwards. Liam rushes to his side, asking, Are you all right, my lord? As Zeke kneels, recovering. Zeke glares, a shadowy, chain collar appearing in his mind as he seethes. Those damn Zimmons. What are they planning this time, he wonders, as a terrifying, flame-wreathed wolf creature materializes. A monstrous hand grips the severed, bloody head of a hellhound, showcasing a brutal kill. An even larger, armored, bipedal wolf-like beast with glowing red eyes lunges into view. Zeke realizes with grim certainty, they're out to kill me. Liam looks on, shocked as Zeke identifies the new, hulking threat, a T-troll. A fearsome troll with glowing red eyes is detailed, rank 1 monsters that prey on hellhounds and orcs. Possessing incredible regeneration. Liam, still kneeling, looks up at Zeke with a questioning gaze. I will be a decoy, Liam declares bravely, urging Zeke, please take that opportunity to flee. Zeke glances sharply at Liam, who clenches his fist as Zeke says, Don't say something so depressing. What kind of lord would abandon their subordinate? Zeke questions, as Liam looks up surprised. Zeke turns to Liam, his expression firm, believe not in me, but in your own efforts, Liam. You are not weak. A confident smirk plays on Zeke's lips as he declares, I'll support you, so do as you like. Liam, visibly moved and resolute, grins back. Thank you, my lord. Liam, empowered by Zeke's words, leaps into a dynamic mid-air strike against the troll. The hulking troll, wielding a massive spiked club, charges forward with ferocious intent. With incredible agility, Liam evades the troll's clumsy swing, his sword arcing in a swift counter. Zeke, still recovering, watches Liam's movements, his own sword anchored in the ground. A close-up on Zeke's glowing purple eye reveals his assessment. He's quite good. Zeke observes Liam's precise strikes, noting, impressive he can wound its tough skin. But he's aiming precisely at its joints. The troll recoils, slashed across its limbs, as Zeke muses. He's been studying monsters in his spare time as well. Undeterred, the troll brings its colossal spike club crashing down towards Liam. Liam meets the devastating blow head-on, his sword clashing against the club with a powerful spark. As Liam holds his ground, Zeke remains kneeling, keenly observing the unfolding battle. Liam is flung backwards by the troll's overwhelming counterattack. Landing near his lord, Liam apologizes. I apologize, my lord. Zeke explains, you overlooked the troll's insane regenerative ability. Its wounds already healing, the troll raises a massive hand to strike again. This seems like too much for you, Zeke states, stepping forward. So I'll finish things up, he declares, his sword glowing with power. A brutal slash marks the troll's face, its attack abruptly halted. Notifications flash. You have subjugated a troll, and you have earned 30 karma points. Pick it up, Liam, Zeke commands, referring to the troll's remains for extra points. Suddenly, a blue emblem glows on Zeke's chest, making him pause with a puzzled. A sudden quest flashes, Hunt 100 monsters of 10 species for double karma. Quest status updates to species down, 14 monsters slain, with 72 hours on the clock. Zeke checks his pocket watch, noting the exam is 79 hours left. 100 monsters are easy, but finding 10 different species is the real challenge here. He knows exam dungeons usually host only for species, making this highly unusual. Since the Zimmons set this trap, Zeke muses, there must be more species if I search. Liam approaches, shouldering the collection bag. It's no subspace pocket, but it'll hold the drops. My lord. Good, let's move, Liam. Keep up, Zeke commands as they venture deeper. Time ticks down as they battle relentless packs of flaming hellhounds. Zeke smirks, watching Liam efficiently collect spoils from a growing pile of defeated beasts. Hours pass as Zeke and Liam face a monstrous, bat-winged beast, its shriek echoing. More time ticks away. Zeke remains focused, Liam a distant figure in the background. Zeke checks in. How is it, Liam? Gotten used to real combat after all these hunts? Liam admits, I'm not sure yet, as Zeke reassures him. It's normal to take a while. Zeke falls silent, a thoughtful expression crossing his face as he considers their situation. With only 50 minutes left, the quest shows 99 monsters of 9 species. He searched everywhere. Those Zimmons really are useless. Zeke scoffs, they should have prepared just one more species. Suddenly, Zeke's eyes widen in shock as a new development occurs. He tenses, instantly alert to an unforeseen presence or event. The ground beneath Zeke erupts with crackling energy as Liam watches from above. Liam, drop the bag, Zeke yells, lunging forward as the ground shakes. Liam looks back, puzzled by Zeke's urgent command. Suddenly, colossal, glowing mandibles erupt from the earth beneath them. The ground explodes upwards, sending both Zeke and Liam, along with the tattered collection bag, flying. Liam's eyes widen in sheer terror at the monstrous emergence. Zeke twists midair, shielding Liam as they're violently thrown by the blast. Are you out? Liam starts, seeing Zeke's arm, but Zeke cuts in. Don't worry. It's the monster's blood. Zeke stands firm, his injured arm exposed. Just watch this time, Liam. A terrifying, colossal worm-like monster with rows of sharp teeth fully emerges. It'll be hard for me to pay attention to you, Zeke tells Liam, ready to face the new threat alone. Zeke identifies the beast, a dungeon worm, a foe requiring 8 elite purple knights. He faces its colossal, tooth-filled maw, realizing the Zimmons' deadly intent. They prepared very well, Zeke acknowledges, a grim smirk on his face. Liam cries out, my lord, as he's blasted backwards by an unseen force. Terror grips Liam, rendering him utterly speechless at the unfolding chaos. He glances back, sweat pouring, the shock clearly etched on his features. Liam instinctively clutches the tattered collection bag, his knuckles white. Zeke, undaunted, launches himself towards the monstrous worm, sword ready. A brilliant flash erupts as Zeke's blade meets the worm's tough hide. Even a blue knight would dread this encounter, Zeke thinks, eyeing a dark cave nearby. Zeke realizes the worm consumes earth as it moves, making the cave unstable. He knows if this fight drags on, the collapsing cave will be his tomb. The colossal worm lunges, threatening to bury him alive. Zeke leaps, narrowly dodging the worm's massive, coiling body. He's slammed against the cavern wall, but his grip on his sword remains firm. With glowing purple eyes and gritted teeth, Zeke prepares a powerful counter. A devastating slash of purple energy erupts, striking the monstrous worm. Zeke relentlessly stabs into the beast's hide, creating multiple impact points. He sprints up the worm's enormous body, continuing his furious assault. I'll cut you in half, Zeke roars, his eyes blazing with purple light. Zeke lands hard on the worm's back, the impact cracking its tough hide. The colossal beast rides, its spiked tail whipping violently through the air. He kicks off the cavern wall, launching himself back towards the thrashing worm. This damn bug, Zeke thinks, staring up at the immense, segmented creature. With a fierce cry, Zeke drives his sword deeper into the worm's pulsating flesh. The worm's tail slams into Zeke, sending him reeling, blood flying from his lips. Undeterred, Zeke stands small against the monstrous worm, the cavern awash in crimson light. Purple energy crackles around Zeke's hand as he tightens his grip on his sword. He channels his power, plunging the glowing blade further into the beast's core. Bloody but focused, Zeke notices the pressure is a bit weaker now. Zeke pushes deeper, feeling the worm's resistance weaken. Liam calls out, "Are you all right, my lord?" as Zeke asks, "What did you do, Liam?" Liam reveals, "I applied an anesthetic to my sword," holding up a small bottle. Zeke realizes, the main ingredient is belladonna. For humans, it weakens senses. But to a worm, Zeke continues as the beast recoils, it would be a deadly poison. A flashback shows Liam, in a moment of panic, recalling worms' incompatibility with belladonna. He'd quickly adapted, using the anesthetic as a substitute on his blade. Your judgment and adaptability reflect your title, Liam, Zeke praises. Liam, when I give the signal, stab it again, Zeke commands. Taking you was the right choice. Zeke expertly maneuvers down the colossal worm's arching body, purple energy trailing him. Zeke plummets headfirst down the worm's hide, sword leading the charge. He braces for impact, the worm's massive head looming above him. Liam, seizing the moment, plunges his belladonna-laced blade into the beast. The dungeon worm convulses, its cavernous maw wide in a silent, poisoned retch. Its rows of teeth clench in agony, a pained exclamation escaping its monstrous form. Zeke ignites with power, soul manifestation empowering his every fiber. A blinding spear of purple light erupts, aimed at the colossal worm. He descends in a whirlwind of energy, his attack named Lacerate. The worm shrieks, purple energy tearing through its poison, massive body. Zeke stands amidst the chaos, eyes glowing, his sword radiating immense power. System notifications flash. Quest completed, karma points doubled, and random boxes rewarded. Cadets emerge from the dungeon, summoned to an open courtyard for grading. An instructor announces, "Now, let's begin grading," as cadets present their spoils. The grading criteria are revealed. Points for escaping, plus bonuses for monster kills. One cadet scores an impressive 180 points, nearing a legendary record. The instructor praises Turun for far surpassing the 130 point passing grade. Next, it's Zeke's turn to be graded by the stern-faced instructor. Zeke scores 120 points, clearing the 70-point pass mark, though he seems unimpressed. Ray and Turun taunts from the side, "You won't be able to act so cocky forever." Zeke smirks confidently, replying, "Well, if need be. I can just take care of her like I did with Zeke." Owen internally schemes. Owen squints, wondering, "Man, how long has it been since we've seen the sun?" Then gasps. He whirls around, shocked. That voice? Recognizing who it is. The colossal dungeon worm slams down, Zeke and Liam beside it, stunning Owen. Onlookers murmur in disbelief. Did the two of them slay a dungeon worm? The massive beast head crashes to the ground, shaking the courtyard. Zeke smirks. "You seem pretty surprised, Owen," as Owen stares, dumbfounded. "Are you that happy to see me?" Zeke taunts, Owen seething, "This arrogant bastard." Zeke casually slings his bag. "What happened to that poker face of yours?" "Well, this look suits you more anyway," Zeke adds, as Owen clenches a fist in fury. As Owen stalks off, Zeke calls out, "You're leaving already?" Owen glares back, vowing internally, "Those damn purebloods. I'll make you pay." Liam watches Owen's group depart, remarking to himself, "Phew, he's merciless." Zeke and Liam approach an instructor, Zeke casually greeting, "Yes, it's been a while." The instructor, Andre, looks up, stating, "Instructor Andre, I'll begin grading you now." Zeke gestures to the worm, "I only have this guy and he need to grade." But Andre insists on procedure. Andre inquires, "Did it eat the bag holding your heads?" Zeke confirms, "That's correct." A wave of unease washes over the other cadets as they witness the exchange. Zeke smirks confidently, simply stating, "I got lucky." He explains internally how the worm ate his collected heads. So he brought its head instead to avoid failing. Zeke knows Andre will meticulously check the flesh and skin between the worm's teeth. Instructor Andre snaps on a pair of pristine white gloves, ready for inspection. "The monsters I've currently confirmed are," Andre begins, revealing gremlins, goblins, and hobgoblins. He continues, "hellhounds," as fiery canine forms appear in his mental tally. "And orcs," Andre adds, a menacing orc visage flashing. And finally, Andre declares, revealing the last creature found, a troll. Cadets gasp in disbelief, "A troll? There were even trolls." Andre, wiping his bloody glove, states, "Considering the blood, there were dozens of heads. But I'll count each species as one. Though not in the criteria, a troll is worth 3 orcs, a dungeon worm 6, Andre calculates, assigning 90 and 180 points. Total 368 points. You pass, Andre announces, as dust motes drift in the sunlight. Onlooking cadets marvel, one noting hellhounds weren't even exam criteria in his time. The crowd murmurs in disbelief, 368 points, is that even possible? A jealous cadet objects, "That's not fair, his only proof is a single dungeon worm's head." Zeke remains unfazed as the cadet dismisses the worm's 180-point value. A voice challenges the onlookers, "Think carefully, if you guys were faced with a dungeon worm or a troll," the voice continues, a fearsome troll visage appearing. Zeke and Liam stand tall as the question concludes, "Would you be able to fight against it?" Cadets stare, a thought echoing amongst them. Was Zeke Draker this strong? Zeke notes the surrounding whispers, "They're sure making a lot of noise." This feels different from their usual mockery. His eyes gleam as he reflects, "It doesn't feel bad, but Zeke realizes he stood out again, recalling how the Zimmons manipulated the dungeon. He ponders if Owen acted alone in the attempt to eliminate him. Zeke concludes Owen wouldn't dare tamper with academy exams by himself. He suspects the entire Zimmons family might be involved in the scheme. Zeke understands he's under more scrutiny than anticipated, making hiding his strength unwise. He decides to adapt and observe the situation carefully for now. A voice calls out, "Zeke Draker," and he turns, slightly surprised. Reincarnated strides purposefully towards him, flanked by two other cadets. Zeke watches her approach, a questioning Raina in his thoughts. Raina stops before Zeke, conceding, "You win this time." Zeke silently watches Raina and her companions approach him. Internally, a confused Zeke wonders, "I win. Win what?" Later, in a vast empty hall, Zeke muses, "Now, I guess I'll have to start with this." A system window displays his draconian skill, Gluttony, locked and costing 50 points. With 780 karma points available, Zeke considers, "I've been ignoring it as a useless skill, but I can easily invest 50 points now." The system prompts, "Will you activate Gluttony?" Zeke casually agrees, "Sure." His eyes widen in shock as he exclaims internally, the skill description changed. The new description reveals Gluttony allows him to eat anything for energy and absorb monster abilities. A wicked grin spreads across Zeke's face. "Absorb a monster's abilities. I should have activated this before the exam." Holding a glowing monster core, Zeke plans, "I'll have to try using energy conversion to know what it's like." A system notification declares, "Draconian skill Gluttony has been activated." Zeke stares in shock as a dark aura erupts from his hand, reaching for the monster core. His eyes widen further, a bead of sweat forming as he processes the sudden change. The core drops, and a shadowy substance rapidly spreads across the floor, Zeke exclaiming, "What is this?" The monster core is swiftly enveloped by the encroaching darkness. Like quicksand, the shadow consumes the core, pulling it into nothingness as Zeke watches. A golden aura envelops Zeke as a new message appears, "You have recovered energy from the energy you've absorbed." He notes his migraine vanishing and mental fatigue slightly reduced. Zeke feels a wave of rejuvenation. His mental, physical, and even ether fatigue are all lessened. "I've definitely recovered all of them," he thinks. As the Gluttony-activated message reappears, Zeke marvels. The skill is definitely worth 50 points as dark energy swirls around him. He smirks, realizing Gluttony recovers mental fatigue, complementing his infinite physical stamina. A manic grin spreads as he declares, "I can train 24 hours straight without food or sleep." His intense training plans are suddenly interrupted by an unseen presence. Zeke, now in formal attire, sternly addresses someone off-screen, "Decker. I said not to disturb me here." Decker apologizes, "Young master, I bring important news." Zeke perks up, "Important news?" A sharp glint in his eye, Zeke learns, "Your sword has been completed," exclaiming, "Finally." Arriving at a blacksmith's, Zeke calls out, "Galleon, I heard my sword is ready." Inside, Zeke thoughtfully recalls, "In my past life, Galleon gave me a mithril and iron sword." A legendary blade is revealed, the Sword of Radiance, Graham, instantly recognizable for its excellence. Zeke muses, "Even with the dragon's fang, I expected something like Graham, but..." A dark, imposing sword is revealed, wreathed in shadow as Zeke wonders, "Just what is this?" Zeke's gloved hand firmly grips the hilt of the ominous new blade. Holding it aloft, he notes, "Judging by its appearance, it's not a very pretty sword." He turns to Galleon, asking, "Did you not sharpen it on purpose?" Galleon, the blacksmith, confirms, "Supposed to be that way." Zeke's eyes narrow slightly as he processes this unusual design choice. "So this is the sword you believe suits me best," Zeke states, Galleon nervously agreeing. Galleon internally remarks, "Most would be bewildered, but he understood what I was getting at." Zeke contemplates Galleon's assessment, a thoughtful glint in his eyes. "If it's him." Galleon reveals, "Sir, the truth is, this sword doesn't have a name yet." He then asks Zeke, "Sir, if you could, would you please give it a name?" leaving Zeke surprised. Zeke recalls Galleon proudly named Graham, the Sword of Radiance himself. Finding this request peculiar, he realizes this blade, forged with the dragon's fang, is an entirely different entity from Graham. Contemplating a name, Zeke suddenly stabs his own arm with the new sword. Galleon's eyes widen in utter shock, a startled "what" escaping him. As blood drips from the wound, Galleon cries out, "Sir, what are you doing?" Zeke calmly states he must control his healing factor skill, urging it to stop the bleeding. System messages appear. The administrator's request has been confirmed, and the passive activation of class skill healing factor has been stopped temporarily. Green energy envelops Zeke's arm as the wound begins to close, and he declares, "All right, it worked." With his arm still bleeding, Zeke calmly utters, "Now then." Drops of his blood fall, splattering onto the dark, unsharpened blade. Galleon watches, astonished. Could this be the sword naming ritual? Indeed, it's a traditional dwarven rite, infusing blood, energy, and aura to name a weapon. The ritual demands the initiator delve into their unconscious mind, seeking a name. Galleon is stunned. Zeke knows this ancient, peerless, and long-forgotten dwarven rite. Bubbles rise as Zeke's consciousness begins to descend into a deeper state. He floats in a dark void, surrounded by glowing red sigils and ethereal bubbles. Countless names, represented by the swirling red symbols, whirl around him. Zeke resolves, I must pick the one name that will stay with me. As he's pulled into a vortex of choices, Zeke declares, for the sake of my new sword, as he delves deeper into the ritual. Determined, he affirms, I must pick a new name amidst the swirling chaos of choices. A single moment of clarity, a name surfaces like a drop, creating ripples in the void. From the depths of his mind, two words emerge, the Stygian blade, Bahamut. Standing in the abyss, Zeke has found it, the perfect, ominous name Bahamut. A system notification confirms, the Stygian blade Bahamut has been registered. As a glint appears in Zeke's eye, the dark sword, Bahamut, now named, looms before him, radiating immense power. Back in reality, Zeke smirks, I can't believe I picked the name of an evil dragon. Is my subconscious alright? Galleon's voice rings out, you are truly incredible, sir, to know such an ancient dwarven rite. Zeke, arm bandaged, casually replies, I just happened across it studying dwarven history. While noting his need for bandages, Galleon asks Zeke to wait, promising another gift, piquing Zeke's curiosity. Sure, take your time, Zeke replies as Galleon gratefully hurries off. Alone, Zeke sits, contemplating his bandaged arm and the recent events. He reflects on the immense advantage of being able to suppress his passive healing factor. This control means he can avoid his abilities being exposed, unlike his past encounter with Duke. No need to show all my cards, he muses, planning to remove the bandages later. A sly glint appears in Zeke's eye as his thoughts turn to something more pressing. His gaze falls upon the newly named Bahamut, eager to test its capabilities. A system window details the Stygian blade Bahamut, indestructible or converting, and currently sealed. Zeke smirks, fascinated that the sword's true power will unlock with his own growth. Zeke marvels, on top of that, it's indestructible, made with the dragon's fang. That's unbelievable. He plants the massive Bahamut before him, thinking, well, regardless. His determined face reflects in the dark steel as he considers, the most important thing is, the system window highlights a crucial property, or a conversion. Zeke recalls overexerting himself creating magic circuits for Galleon, partly due to the blacksmith's skill. He also remembers Graham's core ability was this very aura conversion. This property converts mana, ether, or any energy into pure aura, Zeke explains. Surrounded by purple flames, his gloved hand tightens on Bahamut's hilt, blue energy crackling around it. As someone born without the ability to use aura, he reveals, this was what allowed me to reach the level of the Black Knights. Galleon reappears, relieved, phew, I finally found it. My apologies, sir. Sorry for making you wait. Galleon turns, surprised, as Zeke stands with Bahamut now radiating power. You're here? Zeke asks, Bahamut now cloaked in a vibrant blue aura, shocking Galleon, who exclaims, Aura! Galleon stares, amazed. The sword is wrapped in a clear aura. Zeke smirks, impressed. You've made a truly absurd sword, as Galleon marvels at his mastery. Very well done, Galleon, Zeke praises, but the blacksmith humbly deflects. More importantly, Galleon presents a new item, asking, would you please take a look at this? Zeke eyes it. The sheath? This is a sheath personally crafted by my master, Galleon proudly reveals, handing over the ornate piece. Zeke examines the golden sheath's runes, trying to decipher the name, Gullen, Gel, Bert? His eyes widen in disbelief. What? Gullen Jobert, the pinnacle of blacksmithing. Indeed, it's Gullen Jobert, the continent's greatest unrivaled blacksmith, whose creations bear special abilities. His master's works are legendary, collectors paying fortunes for even one. Zeke realizes, so you were Gullen's disciple. Galleon, impressed, notes Zeke's ability to read Dwarven. Knowing Gullen's reputation, Zeke suspects the sheath holds a secret, which Galleon confirms with a grin. Galleon demonstrates, manipulating a small dial near the sheath's opening. With a click, the golden sheath impressively transforms into a sturdy shield, crafted from mithril and wyvern bones. Galleon explains its durability and reversible transformation. Galleon humbly offers this remarkable transforming sheath as a gift to Zeke. Zeke considers its value for Galleon's furnace, but the blacksmith laughs, refusing to sell his master's art. After teasing Galleon about its high price, Zeke gratefully accepts the incredible gift. Zeke observes the golden sheath, noting it appears quite small compared to the massive Bahamut. However, Zeke slides Bahamut into the seemingly small golden sheath with a soft click. If it's gone job or its work, then Zeke gasps as runes flare and the sheath magically expands. I knew it, Zeke grins, Bahamut now perfectly encased. It far exceeds expectations. Zeke expresses his gratitude for the valuable gift as a pleased galleon watches from his smithy. Later, Zeke examines a new item, exclaiming, "Meteoric iron, that's an incredibly rare material." His eyes widen as he inspects the sleek, dark gauntlet now fitted onto his arm. A system window reveals the gauntlet is made of meteoric iron, its true power locked until a full set is worn. Zeke recalls the 2 random boxes from his hidden quest, realizing they held far more than simple treasure. "Well, it's time to check the second chest," he declares, eyeing the remaining reward. A brilliant golden light erupts as the second chest begins to open. Zeke peers into the chest, a puzzled expression crossing his face. What is this? His confusion deepens as he stares at the contents of the second reward box. He pulls out an old, worn parchment, revealing it to be a detailed map. A map, Zeke murmurs, tracing the outlines of kingdoms and territories. Suddenly, his eyes widen in utter shock, a blue glint reflecting a startling realization. A system window announces, "You have discovered a map containing traces of Grandmaster Kaiser." Zeke recalls the legendary hero King Kaiser and his Knights of the Clock Tower, founders of the Kingdom Kronos. Their tale is famous, yet the image of these imposing knights hints at a deeper truth. However, due to its fantastical nature and lack of historical proof, the story is widely dismissed. The biography of Kaiser is considered nothing more than a work of fiction by most. Zeke clenches his fist, a shocking realization dawning, so the hero King Kaiser really did exist. System messages flash, the map is being restored. Analysis is complete, and Kaiser's final position is marked. A glowing holographic map materializes before Zeke, who murmurs, "These are." The map reveals the giant mountains, barbarian territory, as Zeke thinks. "This looks like it will be resolved much easier than I thought." He keenly studies the illuminated map, tracing the path to the legendary hero's location. A new system notification pops up, catching Zeke's attention due to the user's skill. "The tutorial will be concluded," the system declares, leading Zeke to question. "The tutorial will be concluded." As the map interface fades, another system window announces, "You have discovered a potential quest item." An achievement quest appears, Hero King Kaiser's secret technique, promising a system administrator authority upgrade. I see. Zeke grasps that the tutorial was meant to elevate his skills, and now a new phase begins. No more baby steps. Then, Zeke muses, I guess the real game is starting. The quest reward is a massive upgrade, System Administrator Authority Elevation. A blue glow emanates from Zeke as he stands, understanding dawning. Okay, I see how it is. With a determined smirk, Zeke declares, I'll make sure to claim it all. First, I'll use up the points I've been saving, he decides, unlocking level to draconian skills. New skills appear, Dragon Scale Armor and Dragon Claw, each costing 80 points. Zeke considers his points, deciding to invest in level the draconian skills now. He strategically plans to use some points and save for 100 for later. System notifications confirm, Dragon Scale Armor and Dragon Claw skills are now activated. First, Zeke begins, as a massive, glowing Dragon Claw materializes, ready for action. I'll try out Dragon Claw, Zeke declares, his hand igniting with fiery power. He unleashes a devastating fiery strike, tearing through the air with immense force. Haha, this, Zeke laughs, impressed by the raw power that cracked the ground. Realizing it's far better than expected, he prepares for his next move. Now then. With a determined shout, Zeke activates Dragon Scale Armor, as blue energy envelops his arm. A system notification confirms, Draconian Skill Dragon Scale Armor has activated. A blade strikes his newly armored arm, only to be deflected with a sharp clang. Zeke marvels as golden scales manifest, his sword bounced off, feeling like full plate armor even when unarmed. Dragon Claw for attack, Dragon Scale Armor for defense. Zeke feels warmed up, ready to continue. At Draker Academy's Central Training Hall, an announcement begins, rules for the upcoming semester exam. An instructor explains the basic training dummies are specially made, difficult to damage with mere physical force. However, he demonstrates if aura is infused, the dummies can be easily destroyed as a sword pierces one. He warns that failing to even dent it, let alone destroy it, means outright failure. The instructor's stern gaze reinforces the penalty, all subsequent exams nullified, forcing a return to basics. Students whisper nervously about starting over, but are quickly silenced as Aaron is called next. Aaron steps forward, initially flustered, as the instructor observes early examinees often are. Yet, Aaron smirks, confident this is just like his home aura training, a system his Zimin family established. He internally boasts that even a pure-blood awakener can't match his superior aura control. Next, Owen, the instructor, calls and Zeke, under the alias Owen, steps forward, ready when prompted. Owen plants his foot firmly, drawing his sword with a determined glint, preparing for the test. Aaron unleashes a powerful blue aura, his sword glowing as an instructor gasps a sword resonance. The instructor marvels at Aaron's skill at such a young age, while his senior colleague nods, attributing it to his great family. With a brilliant flash, Aaron's sword connects, energy exploding outwards from the point of impact. The training dummy is instantly carved with a deep, glowing X-shaped gash from the powerful strike. Aaron's attack effortlessly slices the top half of the reinforced dummy clean off. In a stunning display, multiple training dummies across the hall are simultaneously cleaved by his aura-infused slashes. Onlooking students are left utterly speechless, their faces pale with shock at the overwhelming power. Aaron stands calmly amidst the wreckage of several destroyed dummies, his demonstration complete. The instructor approaches, beaming with praise. That's incredible, as expected from a Zimin. He continues, at this rate, it's only a matter of time before you surpass her able. Fueling Aaron's pride, a shadowy hand reaches out as Aaron subtly brandishes a sharp, hidden implement. Aaron scoffs internally, how ill-mannered, as onlookers question his sudden shift in demeanor. The exam proctor's voice booms, next, signaling the continuation of the trials. Another student steps up, nervously preparing to strike the dummy as the instructor calls him forward. Owen Zeke effortlessly cleaves a dummy, his sword trailing blue aura, as the call for next echoes again. Students observe nervously, wondering why others struggle, clearly intimidated by Owen's display. An instructor notes that despite the pressure, every special class student has managed to infuse aura, proving their caliber. He then adds that even among these geniuses, some are exceptionally superior. As a student with a calm aura steps forward, this student, surrounded by training dummies, makes a bold request to the instructor. With intense eyes, he declares, I wish to be graded according to the Dragonslayer arts. The instructor notes the Dragonslayer arts criteria are for higher ranks, but Reina confidently states, I am aware, as Aaron scoffs. A voice explains that merely infusing aura is far simpler than the precise control needed for Dragonslayer arts. Aaron smirks, predicting Reina's aura will quickly fade, her competitiveness leading to her own failure. The instructor warns of harsher failure conditions for this grading, but Reina remains resolute. I am. With a sigh, the instructor concedes, as you wish then, and Reina bows gratefully. Reina draws her sword, and it immediately ignites with a brilliant, powerful blue aura. Onlooking students, including a stern-faced Aaron, watch Reina's preparation intently. Reina, eyes blazing with determination, raises her glowing sword, blue energy swirling around her. Her blade, crackling with power, descends in a devastating arc, shattering the first dummy. In a flurry of light, Reina's aura-charged slashes effortlessly dismantle multiple training dummies. Reina's slashes form a brilliant X, obliterating the dummies in a flash of blue light. She stands poised, her sword still radiating immense power amidst the shattered remnants. The training hall floor is littered with debris as Reina surveys her handiwork. Many dummies destroyed. Students murmur in awe, admitting even Owen's impressive aura control pales in comparison to Reina's. Aaron's face contorts with rage. Damn it all, he seethes, his pride wounded. Owen Zeke calmly sheathes his sword, seemingly unfazed by the surrounding commotion. Suddenly, an even larger, impossibly clean slice appears, dwarfing previous displays as students gape. Aaron, sweating and incensed, glares, What's with that? Damn it, are you mocking me? His eyes widen in disbelief and fury, a single bead of sweat tracing his temple. Owen turns, a bead of sweat on his own face, simply stating, no. Owen recalls from the very beginning, as he's shown lying down, sword in hand. He remembers a past where many, including himself and Aaron, were similarly laid out. Owen smirks, thinking, she had no interest in me, referring to Reina. He surveys the chaotic scene, muttering, what a mess. Noticing Aaron's furious glare, Owen thinks, I can't just ignore him like that. Owen boldly addresses the instructor. I'd like to be graded by Dragonslayer arts criteria too. The instructor's eye narrows, scrutinizing Owen's unexpected request. Zeke, was it? The instructor asks, are you taking this lightly because Reina succeeded? As another instructor mentions Reina's lineage, the first confirms the conditions are the same. Is that fine? Owen grins with absolute confidence, declaring, of course. An instructor questions Owen's participation. Why did you allow it? I didn't see him attending class once. A senior instructor clarifies, that's because this cadet won a bet with instructor Andre. He reveals Owen is an unheard-of Golden Light pure-blood awakener, a rare prodigy. Furthermore, Owen shattered Sir Abel's record in the dungeon escape exam. Owen, identified as Zeke Draker, activates his Stygian blade Bahamut, converting ether into aura. A colossal blue aura erupts from his sword as the conversion completes. Owen grimaces slightly, finding it difficult to fully harness his immense strength. With a confident smirk, he deems the gathered power sufficient for the task. He grips his sword tightly, blue energy crackling fiercely around his hands. The skeptical instructor's eyes widen in utter disbelief, exclaiming, "That's..." Owen's sword radiates immense power as he prepares Dragonslayer Arts Chapter 1, First Verse. He assumes the formidable sky slice stance, or swirling intensely around him. The instructor inwardly marvels, his perfection rivals even instructor Andre. Owen recalls his past mastery. Before regressing, I could do this in my sleep. He reflects on his ingrained skill, my sword and my movements, as he visualizes his form. My positioning and footwork. He continues, his body a blur of practice motion. And even the flow of aura. Owen's focus is absolute, his control precise. He concludes his thought, they're ingrained in my body, requiring no conscious thought. His foot slides powerfully across the floor, kicking up dust with the force of his stance. Owen exhales, a slight smile playing on his lips. Starting from basics isn't so bad. Owen muses, this much should be enough to stir up Reina as well, right? As onlookers whisper. A student stammers, he just wrapped his sword in aura, right? Awed by its immense size. Owen, sweating slightly, wonders if he got too absorbed, questioning if he's Purple Knight level. He observes faint aura marks on the floor, realizing his power leaked unconsciously. Owen sighs, I wanted to match Reina, damn it, I'll stand out again. An instructor and student gape, a first-year cadet, a Purple Knight. Nearby students murmur, their bodies tense with disbelief and apprehension. Aaron trembles, his face a mask of shadowed fury and utter humiliation. His fist clenches so tightly, it seems ready to draw blood. Reina, however, flashes a sharp, knowing smirk, her eyes gleaming with intrigue. A gloved hand offers tea as a voice acknowledges Owen's exam participation. The academy headmaster comments on Owen's surprising results, to which Owen humbly attributes luck. The headmaster scoffs, questioning if reaching Purple Knight level at 13 is mere chance. With a clink of his teacup, the headmaster addresses young Zeke. He peers intently over his cup, proposing Owen take the grade advancement exam. Owen clarifies if this means skipping a grade, and the headmaster confirms it's for remarkable cadets. Owen inwardly notes the headmaster took the bait, a consequence of his unexpected show of power. With a confident smirk and a flash of purple in his eye, Owen declares, I'll do it. As Owen departs, the headmaster senses the young cadet has a plan of his own. Owen strides away, a subtle aura around him, thinking, I'll play along. Back in his sunlit office, the headmaster sits alone, contemplating. He adjusts his decorated uniform, a thoughtful expression on his face. An unseen subordinate reports, Reina Draker and Zeke Draker, both pure-blood awakeners, have decided to take the exam. The headmaster, still unseen, replies, Yes, I understand. I'll be sure to take those measures. With a knowing smirk, the headmaster muses, things are getting interesting now. The scene shifts to the grand exterior of the Draker Academy upper class aura training hall. Inside, Reina stands with a stern, focused expression, clearly waiting. Owen approaches with a slightly awkward smile, a large sword on his back. As Reina glares intensely, Owen quips, At least pretend you're not staring at me. Owen, now closer, says with a slight smirk, Looks like I've made you wait. Before them stands a towering figure, identified as the examiner for the grade advancement exam. He's revealed as Sir Aldraker, the main family's formidable upper-class knight. Owen's eye widens in shock, a flicker of recognition dawning on him. D-back blade. Owen internally exclaims, his gaze fixed on the stern examiner. A grim flashback surfaces, Sir Aldraker, a silhouette carrying a lifeless form through desolate ruins. The memory sharpens, showing Sir Al carrying a fallen youth, his own face obscured by shadow. In the flashback, Sir Al gently lays the body down as another figure approaches. A scarred, disheveled man looks up from the ground, questioning, Hey Draker. The rugged man scoffs, What's a damn dog of the Empire doing here? As Sir Al stands before him, the scarred man's aggressive posture falters, replaced by a look of utter confusion. In the flashback, the lifeless youth lies peacefully on the desolate ground. Sir Al Draker kneels solemnly beside the fallen young man amidst the ruins. The scarred man's eyes narrow, a flicker of understanding dawning within them. The scene pans out, revealing a field of makeshift graves as the scarred man watches Sir Al. Sir Al, with glowing hands, begins to dig into the earth, a shovel already planted nearby. The scarred man approaches, shovel in hand, offering, Shall I help you? Even if you say no, I'll do it anyway, the scarred man declares, starting to dig. I'm Zeke Murray, he introduces himself, then asks pointedly, You're a Draker, right? Sir Al looks away, his voice heavy. No, I left. Zeke considers this, same as me then. What should I call you? As Sir Al hesitates. In the flashback, Sir Al states grimly, call me D-Back Blade. The memory fades, and Owen realizes, so his name is Owl, fitting for the D-Back Blade. Owen and Raina formally greet examiner Al Draker, an upper-class knight for their exam. Upper-class knights, the Draker family's elite, are revealed to hold immense power and renown. Sir Al explains the exam, a swordsmanship battle where they must give their all, until unconsciousness or surrender. Raina volunteers to go first, but Sir Al sharply interjects with a firm no. He looks down at the two cadets, declaring, there's no need to go separately. Sir Al's eyes glow with red intensity as he issues a challenge. Come at me together. His gaze remains fixed, a purple aura now mixing with the red, reiterating his demand for them to attack simultaneously. Owen, surprised, internally cautions Sir Al, acknowledging the vast skill gap between them. Owen smirks at Raina, announcing, on top of that, the test has already begun. He explains she'd have lost points for rushing in, as Raina looks down, considering his words. Raina exhales, composing herself while Owen observes her reaction. Raina asks Owen for a plan, and he internally praises her quick judgment, revealing he has a strategy. The three combatants take their positions in the vast training hall, Sir Al Draker awaiting their move. Sir Al draws his unique single-edged sword, identified as a wando from the Eastern Empire. Owen keenly observes, deducing Sir Al has wielded this particular sword for a significant time. Noting Raina's frustration, Owen internally questions the value of pride for the weak. Owen sternly advises Raina to set aside personal feelings and concentrate solely on their strategy. From above, Sir Al stands ready as Raina and Owen begin their coordinated assault from opposite sides. Swords clash violently as Raina and Owen launch their assault on Sir Al. Sir Al effortlessly deflects their combined attacks, a whirlwind of motion and sparks. Owen leaps high, aiming a powerful strike, while Raina presses her attack from another angle. Sir Al parries Owen's blow with precision, simultaneously countering Raina's advance. A blinding flash erupts as their blades meet, showcasing the immense force of the exchange. Raina is sent reeling backwards from the impact, while Owen struggles to maintain his footing. Landing gracefully, Raina grits her teeth, acknowledging, so this is an upper-class knight. She recalls Owen's advice, just as Zeke told me to. I've been focusing my attacks on his blind spots. Yet, her internal monologue reveals her frustration. But not only am I not landing any effective blows, I'm not even able to scratch him. Raina's sword ignites with blue energy as she resolves, Dragonslayer Arts Chapter 3 Verse 1. I have to attack him with intent to kill. Owen observes intently as Raina prepares to unleash her full power. Raina soars through the air, her energized blade aimed directly at Sir Al. The impact is brutal. Raina coughs blood, sent flying by Sir Al's defense. Owen immediately launches himself forward, sword poised for his own assault. Sir Al unleashes a devastating counterattack, a massive shockwave tearing through the arena floor. Two onlookers rush forward in concern, calling out, Lady Raina Draker, are you all right? From a crater in the wall, Raina, the battered, manages a strained, I'm fine. She kneels, admitting, it was only for a moment, but I lost consciousness. Then warns the onlookers to step back. Meanwhile, Owen deflects a blow, internally questioning the strategy, create an opening. He grimly acknowledges, I have no hope of doing that with my skills. As he faces Sir Al's immense strength, Owen recalls his earlier conversation, confidently asking Raina, are you telling me that it's possible for you, Zeke Draker? Raina, in flashback, vehemently refused. I can't participate in such a shameful strategy. But Owen retorted, since when did honor put food on the table? He grabbed her collar, emphasizing, this isn't a match between knights, but an exam. They are testing our ability to kill. Raina reluctantly conceded, ugh, I understand. I'm the one that asked for your help, after all. She questioned the plan's viability against an upper-class knight, but Owen insisted. We just have to force a situation where it will. Owen then probed, when you fought against me in the cradle, why do you think you weren't able to dodge that rock? A brief flashback shows Raina getting struck by that very rock, unable to react. Raina admitted, I didn't expect that you would use such a method, to which Owen simply replied, exactly. Owen then smirked, confidently stating, the same goes for him, implying Sir Al could be caught off guard. He instructed Raina, just wait for my signal. It'll definitely work. As he shouldered his large sword, Owen's voice echoes his strategy. A small opening is more than enough. He unleashes applied Dragonslayer Arts, creating multiple spectral copies. Owen then executes Gale Arts Shadowless Steps, his purple afterimages surrounding Sir Al. Sir Al, amidst the flurry, mutters, this is Sir Duke's, recognizing the technique. His eyes narrow, focusing intently on Owen's relentless assault. Owen presses the attack, warning Sir Owl, "You'll have to get serious from now on." Suddenly, purple lightning crackles and a light fixture flickers out. Owen, blades crossed, looks up in the dimming hall, questioning the lights. Sir Owl, eyes glowing fiercely, deduces, "I see. They used a pure blood awakener's mana interference." In the near darkness, Sir Owl expertly parries Owen's swift, shadowy strike, sparks illuminating their clash. Steel clashes relentlessly as Owen and Sir Owl battle on in the deepening gloom. Sir Owl internally dismisses the tactic. "What a childish ploy," he confidently asks. "Did you think simply obstructing my vision would provide an opportunity against an upper class knight?" Suddenly, Raina, her eye aglow, plummets towards a surprised Sir Owl. A wave of unease hits Owen. But what is this bad feeling? Raina wonders. How can he, in this pitch darkness where even I can barely see? Her gaze intensifies, move as though his vision is unperturbed. Sir Owl grins, stating, "I've been wanting to try out a new draconian skill. So this was good timing." Draconian skill Dragon Claw has activated. A fiery shockwave erupts from Sir Owl towards Owen. Owen struggles against the blast. As Sir Owl internally notes Owen's surprising caliber, this is a first-year cadet's sword strike. Sir Owl internally marvels, "No, this isn't like a sword strike at all." Owen's attack manifests as a ferocious, dragon-shaped energy construct. Sir Owl realizes, regardless, Zeke Draker has already long surpassed the level of a cadet, he concludes, as Raina struggles in the dark unlike Owen. Sir Owl questions Owen's tactic. Did he disregard unnecessary forces to restrict me? That only works on equals, Sir Owl thinks, easily parrying Owen's blade. Sir Owl expertly flips Owen, sending him crashing downwards. The clash erupts in a blinding explosion of sparks and energy. Owen, shocked, notes Sir Owl's movements returning to normal, as he already adjusted to the dark. A brilliant beam of light suddenly erupts from Owen's ornate shoulder guard. Sir Owl lunges, his blade ablur as Owen braces for the unseen assault. He disappeared, Sir Owl realizes, struggling to track Owen's hazy, shadow-like form. Sir Owl stands alert, surrounded by swirling purple energy, searching for his elusive opponent. He unleashes a swift strike, golden sparks flying, trying to pinpoint Owen in the gloom. Red lightning crackles around Sir Owl as he senses a new development, monolights. Owen is revealed amidst falling light fixtures, blue energy surging around him. The hall's lights plummet, some still glowing faintly, others extinguished by red energy. Sir Owl notes the crashing debris is masking Owen's movements and sounds. Suddenly, Sir Owl looks up, startled by a new attack descending from above. Owen, eyes blazing with golden light and a fierce grin, clashes blades with Sir Owl. Raina visible just below him. Owen yells, "Now, Raina," as a small, glowing blue orb hurtles towards Sir Owl's head. In a flashback, a craftsman notes the orb's simple, single-use design, asking Owen, what spell he'll store. Owen, in the same flashback, slyly dismisses the idea of actual explosion magic. He clarifies his intent, just a flash and the sound of an explosion is more than enough. As blue light intensifies. "Perfect timing, Raina," Owen declares as the orb detonates in a blinding flash. Raina shields her eyes, a smirk playing on her lips amidst the brilliant light. Sir Owl is caught directly in the flashbang's burst, his face contorted. He grimaces, thinking, "Ugh, they got me," momentarily stunned. Raina stands poised as Sir Owl admits internally, disregarding her as unnecessary. "Was an error in my judgment." Sir Owl kneels, clutching his head, disoriented by the sudden sensory overload. Owen, seizing the moment, lunges downwards with his blade aimed at the stunned Sir Owl. With a fierce grin, Owen unleashes his follow-up attack on the vulnerable knight. He executes a devastating full moon slash, a sweeping arc aim to finish the fight. The powerful slash connects, erupting in a maelstrom of blue energy and force. Jagged blue light tears through the air as the impact reverberates. Sir Owl stands amidst the dissipating energy, his expression unreadable. Medics rush onto the scene as the dust settles, stretchers ready for the fallen. A white-haired commander commends Sir Owl. "Good work," while an unconscious Owen is carried away. The commander then scolds Sir Owl, "Damn you, Owl. You sure did a number on someone else's disciple." A red-haired man approaches, greeting Sir Owl, who internally remarks on his stiffness. The red-haired man grins, asking Sir Owl, "Right? How was my disciple?" Sir Owl's eyes narrow as he silently processes the question. He recalls Owen intentionally abandoning his sword to guard, pondering the missed counterattack. Sir Owl muses if Owen's true goal was advancement, not victory, revealing only necessary skills. He concludes his assessment to the red-haired man, "Zeke Draker is far beyond my capacity to evaluate," Sir Owl admits, looking at his bandaged hand. The scene shifts to an academy-grade advancement meeting, the dean seeking consensus. Sir Owl, alongside other instructors, states, "I have no objections." A notice reveals Raina and Owen were advanced to the 3rd and 5th grades respectively. Owen walks through the academy grounds, resolving, "After this, I lived as quietly as possible." Owen recalls, after learning all the Gale arts from Duke, "My place was passed on to Andre." He continued a good relationship with Professor Fannin, until Fannin left for a royal magic laboratory. Owen then distanced himself from the heirs of prominent families. Interestingly, Owl would still seek him out every quarter, requesting a duel. Eventually, Owl, struck by a realization, took a leave of absence to train in isolation. 2 years later, a butler congratulates Owen, "Young master, you're the youngest admitted into Valhalla." The butler continues, "I'm sure the patriarch is proud of you as well." As a nameplate reads Zeke Draker, 15 years old. He expresses surprise that the dean personally wrote Owen's letter of recommendation. Owen internally groans about his quiet life ending, as the butler suddenly orders, "Head to Atlas first, Decker." Startled, Owen protests, "Young master, I intend to rest quietly by myself." Owen firmly states, "I don't want to be disturbed by anyone. You understand, right?" The butler, adjusting his monocle, respectfully replies, "Yes, young master." Owen eyes a map of the giant mountains, planning to explore the Argos Kingdom's Adventurers Guild. As the butler stands in the grand room, Owen calls out, "Come in," while thinking he'll keep his true destination secret. A uniformed man kneels respectfully. "I offer my greetings to my liege, Zeke Draker." Owen, at his desk, casually tells Liam, "It's fine to at least greet me informally." The butler departs, reminded by Owen to handle the Valhalla admission using the black card. Liam asks why he was summoned, and Owen explains he can't ignore Liam's transfer to the special class. Liam presents a binder. "I've organized everything you'll need: semester exams, training manuals, 2 essential items." Owen advises Liam he'll need a personal sword in his 4th year, commissionable from Fafnir's breath. All expenses paid. Owen looks back, confidently stating, "I have faith that you'll follow after me, Liam." Liam's eyes well up, his lip trembling with emotion at Owen's words. He bows deeply, declaring, "I shall make absolutely sure that I live up to your expectations, my liege." Owen, leaning back with a slight smile, reminds him about their earlier conversation. Liam, still formal despite the window frame obscuring him, vows, "I shall rectify my behavior." The scene transitions, explaining the Argos Kingdom's location at the northernmost edge of the central continent. Jagged peaks fill the view as text describes the giant mountains, riddled with dungeons attracting adventurers. A symbolic handshake illustrates how Argos' first king built his kingdom around adventurers and dungeons. A waving flag signifies the Argos Adventurers Guild, which manages the royally supported mountain regions. At a large building, someone calls out next, 546, 546, then exclaims, 546, not here. Inside the bustling guild hall, an official shouts, "Next, 547. A document is stamped, officially welcoming Zeke Murray as a new adventurer. Owen, now disguised as Zeke Murray with brown hair, politely says, "Thank you," holding his papers. He reflects that an adventurer ID is best for operating peacefully, revealing his wig and magic lenses. Zeke Murray knows that using his real name, Draker, would attract too much attention. Now then, he thinks, surveying the lively town square teeming with people. Purposefully striding through the crowd, Zeke declares time to go on a treasure hunt. An overhead shot reveals numerous covered wagons preparing to depart, a common sight for adventurers. Zeke sits with other travelers in a rumbling wagon, beginning his journey. With his hood up, he feels relieved to find a caravan spot until a voice calls out, "Hey, bro." Zeke, under his hood, is asked, "Are you an adventurer too?" A group of 3 adventurers eye him, one noting, "You sure look nervous. Is it your first time heading into a dungeon?" The blonde-haired man leans in, inviting, "How about it, bro? Want to go with us?" Another boasts they're veterans, while Zeke internally scoffs. "Trash like this exists wherever you go, huh?" The blonde man grins menacingly, revealing how first parties often use new adventurers as monster bait or sell them to slavers. Zeke remains silent, his expression unreadable beneath his hood. The blonde adventurer continues his spiel as the wagon rumbles past misty mountains. The other 2 adventurers, a man and a woman, sit quietly in the background. Zeke cuts him off sharply with a simple, "Shut up," startling the talkative adventurer. He then turns his back and moves to another part of the wagon, leaving the blonde man bewildered. Zeke, peering from his hood, calmly warns of orcs 500 meters away, shocking the blonde adventurer. The blonde man scoffs, calling Zeke a nervous rookie, insisting the kingdom-managed route is perfectly safe. Zeke, with a knowing glint in his eye, simply asks then. He finishes, "What's that behind you?" As a monstrous orc with glowing red eyes looms over the terrified adventurer. Suddenly, a violent crash shatters the air, indicating the attack has begun. Orcs ambush the caravan, throwing adventurers from the wagon amidst the chaos. Horses rear and scream in panic as the brutal assault unfolds. An overhead view reveals the carnage, with orcs rampaging through the scattered caravan. The blonde adventurer, now atop a blood-splattered wagon, stammers in disbelief. What's going on? His face contorts in pure terror as he clings to the wagon, witnessing the brutal attack. The blonde adventurer, eyes wide with terror, stammers out a desperate plea, help. A brutal, spiked weapon crashes down, followed by a sickening spray of red. Zeke, observing from a tree, notes that orcs roaming a supposed safe zone is highly unusual. He deduces this chaos means the nearby military base isn't functioning correctly. A shattered wooden barricade confirms his suspicion, as I expected. Surveying the grim aftermath, Zeke remarks, "They've sure made a mess of things here." He stands over a fallen figure, questioning if Argo's soldiers were overwhelmed. Despite their usual strength, Zeke's eyes narrow with intense focus as he analyzes the scene more closely. He spots a clean, deep gash on an armored chest, a wound too precise for a typical monster. A chilling realization dawns, it's not a monster, this was. He concludes with certainty, done by a human, as a flashback shows a swift, deadly strike. Zeke's eyes narrow, his expression hardening with this grim understanding. He observes the corpse, noting the massive, intentionally misleading damage. Yet the cut is too precise for a monster. Surveying the fallen soldiers, he deduces they were killed cleanly, likely by someone as skilled as a purple knight. Zeke decides to leave, not wanting to be implicated in the massacre. His resolve solidifies right now. Finding traces of Kaiser is my top priority. He soon encounters a gruesome totem of skulls, a clear marker of barbarian territory. Consulting his glowing minimap, Zeke sees he's nearing Kaiser's ruins. But he trails off, sensing something amiss as he ventures deeper into the woods. Peering from cover, he spots figures in the distance, wondering, what are the Empire's hunting dogs doing here? These hunting dogs are elite assassins, the Emperor's personal trackers, chosen from top knight trainees. They operate in shadows, known only to the Empire's highest echelons, destined to be a future main fighting force. Zeke recalls observing their distinct tracking patterns, techniques he could never forget. The reason he knows them so well flashes through his mind. A brutal memory surfaces him, alone, fending off their relentless assault. He remembers Duke revealing the Emperor's obsession with immortality, a quest tearing the continent apart. Even before his regression, Zeke knew the Emperor craved rare, powerful artifacts. Beyond continental unification, the Emperor chased the elusive dream of eternal life. Surrounded by grim totems, Zeke wonders if the Empire has already found Kaiser's ruins. Determined, he decides he must venture deeper to uncover the truth himself. Zeke watches as three cloaked figures, the Emperor's hunting dogs, turn sharply in the dim forest. One of the assassins, scarred and tense, grips his cloak, sensing an unseen threat. He quickly draws a metallic flare gun, preparing to signal for aid. Before he can act, a sword pierces him from behind, a fatal spray of red erupting. A blonde-haired figure in a blue hood observes as the bloodied flare gun clatters to the ground. The device, a gold emergency flare, reveals the fallen man was their team leader. The attacker, clad in a fur-trimmed cloak, questions the remaining two about their unusually small perimeter guard team. Terrified, the surviving assassins face their interrogator, who demands, "Who are you? Who sent you here?" With blinding speed, the attacker lunges, a blur of motion against the forest backdrop, past the fresh bloodstains. Looking down at a fallen assassin, the attacker coldly asks, "Do you still not understand the situation?" The attacker, eyes glinting, asserts, "I'm asking the questions here." He pressures the terrified assassins, then carefully, "I see two mouths that can talk." After extracting information, he approaches a cliffside entrance. "So this is your temporary base." A glowing map reveals numerous hostiles within, his bloodied hand hovering over the display. He deduces these individuals also caused the chaos at the kingdom's base. Questioning if they found the ruins, a familiar MC symbol carved into a tree marks his path as he decides to investigate further. The two assassins are swiftly dealt with. A warning states those opposing McCain face dire consequences. Zeke descends a long, rickety staircase into the depths of the enemy encampment. Reaching a landing, Zeke lets out a weary yawn, seemingly unfazed by the danger. Surveying the area, he wonders aloud about the sanity of those who'd willingly enter barbarian lands. Zeke, surprised, exclaims, "Huh," as a figure plummets from a nearby wooden platform. He instinctively reaches out, but the figure is already gone, a splash of red marking their fall. A swift, purple energy slash cuts down another unsuspecting guard below. The blonde attacker in the dark hood watches the chaos unfold with cold precision. Deeper inside, One guard asks another, "Didn't you hear something from the entrance?" Before a reply, the blonde attacker, McCain, strikes one of them down with blinding speed. The surviving guard stares in wide-eyed horror, blood splattering beside him. McCain delivers a swift kick, sending the terrified guard reeling with a pained AGH. The guard attempts to scream, "I intruder," but McCain's hand clamps over his mouth. With a chilling gaze, McCain silences his captive, a deadly energy blade poised at his neck. McCain, bloody dagger in hand, muses, "This reminds me of old times." He recalls a past raid on the Pabella cartel, a similar scene of carnage. A new, cloaked leader observes McCain, noting his deadly southern hitman style. The leader offers McCain a swift end if he surrenders immediately. McCain internally scoffs, judging this leader far weaker than past hunting dog foes. The leader, enraged by McCain's defiance, questions his audacity after slaughtering his men. With a sneer, the leader confirms McCain's group hails from the central continent. McCain, unfazed, simply replies, "As you wish then," as power begins to flare around him. Their blades clash in a shower of sparks, the leader vowing to tear McCain apart. McCain is instantly surrounded, expertly deflecting a barrage of attacks from multiple foes. McCain, sword aglow, muses, "That's odd. We're hunting dogs always at this level." He ponders if they're weak or he's just too strong, but quickly dismisses it as irrelevant. A system notification declares, "Skill mana reflection has activated." As the leader recoils in surprise, the leader, observing flickering lights from a walkway, mutters, "A power outage now." Of all times. His subordinates below gaze upwards in alarm, one suggesting Dragonslayer's mana interference. An unseen observer notes McCain started empty-handed and used no aura. The same observer recognizes McCain's southern knifemanship, concluding, "He's definitely a hitman." The leader shouts, "Don't panic. It must be a simple malfunction. Focus on defense." Suddenly, numerous cloaked figures are violently thrown into the air, as if by an invisible blast. The leader stares, utterly bewildered, sweat dripping as he asks, "What is this?" McCain, observing a falling foe, muses on the Emperor's bold pursuit of King Kaiser's ruins. The bewildered leader grips his dagger, stammering, "Kaiser's ruins." Enraged, the leader demands, "What are you talking about?" his blade glowing fiercely. McCain coolly states, "Don't worry, I can find it on my own." A shadowy hand lunges forward, signaling McCain's decisive move. McCain seizes the leader, dagger at his throat, as the man pleads ignorance. Bodies plummet into a brightly lit abyss below, a testament to McCain's ruthlessness. Tossing a dagger, McCain declares all events will be attributed to McCain. The ornate dagger, bearing a distinct symbol, represents the McCain cartel. A flashback reveals the McCain cartel, a past-life criminal group he built, driven by profit. The flashback reveals the McCain cartel rose to power by dividing the lawless lands. After Cusco Kingdom's civil war, Zeke internally admits he could have hidden his actions with draconian skills, but deliberately chose southern knifemanship. He reflects that leaving McCain's unique warning, a clear mark, serves his larger strategy. Zeke smirks, knowing the Empire will blame the southern cartel. A win-win if they eliminate his past identity. He strides away, recalling a letter he discovered within the enemy base. A bead of sweat traces Zeke's jaw as he realizes the Emperor's obsession is far deeper than he imagined. The letter detailed the Emperor's simple command, "Find ancient ruins," but also a shocking enclosure operation map. This map revealed hunting dogs mobilized across continents, even into ceasefire zones and unexplored dark seas, wherever ruins were suspected. Zeke deduces the hunting dogs are already at their former strength. Yet Kaiser's ruins remain undiscovered. Observing a distant flare of light, Zeke resolves to hasten his search for the ruins. Zeke spots the distant light, a nervous smile playing on his lips as he mutters, "A red flare. It can't be." The flare explodes brilliantly, a piercing red beacon against the sky. He recognizes it instantly. This crimson burst is a signal for disaster. Zeke immediately sprints through the dense forest, urgency in every step. His green eyes, now sharp above a black mask, scan his surroundings as he flees. Looking back, he sees shadowy figures closing in, realizing they've already caught up to me. The ominous 5-part red flare signifies a dire, coordinated hunt. It's the absolute snare, a command to kill the hazard no matter what, trapping the target in a tightening net. All hunting dogs in the vicinity will relentlessly search, an assassination method synonymous with a death sentence. He grimly recalls his past life, even after stealing a coveted artifact. He ultimately fell to this very absolute snare. Zeke, however, recalls his current advantage, the system, a glowing blue card appearing before him. He immediately engages a scarred hunting dog, their blades meeting in a cloud of dust. Zeke expertly navigates the forest path, evading multiple cloaked assailants. The scarred hunting dog glares, his resolve hardening as he tracks Zeke. With newfound confidence, Zeke declares, "I can take them," ready for the onslaught. His sword becomes a blur, deflecting a flurry of attacks and a shower of sparks. Zeke cuts a swath through his pursuers, leading fallen foes in his wake. A grim realization dawns on Zeke's face as he mutters, "I knew it." The scarred hunting dog watches intently, his expression unreadable, but focused. Zeke confronts a new line of hunting dogs, acknowledging they are on a different level from the ones in the cave. Zeke glances back, cloaked figures hot on his heels through the dense woods. An overhead view reveals Zeke completely encircled by a formidable line of hunting dogs. Gripping his dagger, Zeke mutters, "This has become a real hassle." A system map shows his dire situation, but escaping now would ruin his McCain frame-up. Resigned, Zeke pulls out a small device, thinking, "I didn't want to use this here," but he brings the item to his lips as a pursuer in the background pauses, puzzled. Suddenly, a brilliant flash erupts from the forest floor, engulfing the area. The hunting dogs recoil in shock, one stammering, "WH, what did one of our men?" The scarred hunting dog's eyes widen, a sudden understanding dawning. He roars, "It's a smoke bomb." The sound is a distraction, holding similar devices. The scarred leader roars, "Get him now," as hunting dogs surge forward. Zeke emerges from the dissipating smoke, eyes glinting, dagger poised. He explodes into action, a swift blur across the forest floor. The leader commands his troops, "Don't panic." The absolute snare ensures he can't escape. A cloaked pursuer looks around, bewildered as Zeke has vanished from sight. The scarred leader frowns, "I can't sense him. Did he think this would make us retreat?" Suddenly, a hunting dog is violently struck from above, blood spraying as he falls. The leader glances upwards, startled, as another of his men plummets from the trees. Sweat drips down his face, his eyes wide with shock as he exclaims, "That's insane." A hunting dog stares in horror as fierce barbarians attack, wondering, "Barbarians? We didn't provoke them." The scarred leader yells, "We could take one or two. But why are they attacking en masse?" A cloaked hunting dog roars, "How dare you uncivilized brutes intrude here?" Swinging a glowing sword, his blade meets a barbarian's powerful, unyielding arm. The hunting dog gasps, "How is," as his attack is effortlessly blocked. A massive barbarian fist smashes into the hunting dog, sending blood spraying. The scarred leader, watching the carnage, admits, "This is my first time seeing them so enraged. We're in danger." He quickly raises a flare gun, a new signal device in hand. A white flare erupts overhead as the leader shouts, "We're withdrawing the absolute snare." The enraged barbarians, undeterred, continue their ferocious pursuit. "Retreat, retreat," echoes as the hunting dogs flee desperately through the forest. As the hunting dogs flee, a muddy patch reveals Zeke's hiding spot. Zeke rises from the earth, caked in mud, letting out a relieved sigh. A smirk plays on his lips as he thinks that was far more effective than expected. The item he used is revealed, a barbarian's horn. This horn was created for efficient communication during the chaos of battle. Crushing the remnants, Zeke recalls it's a barbarian tool of war. In his past life, he befriended the Mohawken tribe, who taught him its use. The signal he sent warned of outsiders intruding on their sacred motherland. Though often called simplistic savages, a fierce barbarian warrior stands proud. These barbarians possess distinct cultures and traditions within their indigenous civilizations. Zeke muses that his shoddy replica horn was only good for one use. He then strides confidently down a sun-dappled forest path. Now then, he thinks, as a distant explosion signals his next move. It's time to find the real ruins. He soon arrives at a crumbling stone entrance, the air thick with ancient power. Looking back with a weary expression, Zeke mutters, "It's just one thing after another." Suddenly, a monstrous, multi-headed serpent appears. A system alert identifying it as a fallen dragonborn. From a higher vantage point, Zeke eyes the creature, questioning, "What's a fallen dragonborn anyway?" The serpent glares, and Zeke consults his minimap, noting a door further ahead. "System, can I open that door?" he asks, as a notification confirms connection to the control system. Two more system messages flash, connecting to the home of the Hero King Kaiser administration system, then opening home of the Hero King Kaiser. With a deep rumble, the ancient stone door begins to slide open. The fallen dragonborn's eye snaps towards the sound, a question mark appearing. Its many heads turn, screeching in unison as the entrance is revealed. Zeke watches from above as the door opens, the serpent now between him and his goal. He smirks, realizing, "Guess I can't just walk past it now." A system message declares, applying Dragonslaying arts as purple energy gathers. Zeke charges towards the colossal, shadowy form of the multi-headed serpent. He leaps, unleashing Gale arts, a whirlwind of slashes against the beast. The serpent strikes, but Zeke evades with shadowless steps, a blur of motion. Interfere with its view using shadowless steps, he thinks, and get into the entrance quickly. Zeke weaves through the serpent's colossal, shadowy coils. The beast's massive form thrashes, narrowly missing him. One of its heads, with glowing green eyes, snaps viciously. Purple energy intensifies around Zeke's hands as he prepares his next move. A system notification appears. Dragonslayer Arts Chapter 7 Verse 1. He unleashes Dragon Head Severance, a powerful arcing slash. Zeke lands, splattered with the creature's dark blood. The blood sizzles on his skin as he wonders, is its blood acidic? Class Skill Healing Factor activated, a system message declares. As Zeke analyzes the nine-headed beast, he recalls, even my master barely subjugated it. The nine-headed dragon, Hydra. Zeke stares down the Hydra, muttering, yeah, let's give it a try. The Hydra slams down with immense force, shaking the very foundations of the ruins. Zeke narrowly parries a swift, powerful strike, sparks flying from the impact. One of the beast's heads crashes into the ground where Zeke just stood. He clenches his fist, dust swirling around him from the near miss. Damn it, Zeke grunts. How is this dragon slain? As he learns Dragonborn are akin to dragons. His attacks prove futile. The Hydra regenerates instantly, frustrating him. He realizes, taking it down with my current skills is too much for me. Zeke eyes the entrance, calculating. It's about 30 meters to the door. Turning his attention inward, Zeke calls out, System. Zeke, eyes narrowed, issues a command to the system, close the door. The system confirms the door to the home of the hero King Kaiser has been closed. With a heavy thud, the massive stone entrance seals shut, Zeke now inside. Apply Dragonslayer Arts flares as Zeke confronts the Hydra's heads within the ruins. He channels power, preparing Gale Art's fifth form, wind swirling violently. Zeke unleashes Wind Splitter, a brilliant vertical slash of energy at the monstrous Hydra. A Hydra head recoils. Zeke seizes the moment, thinking, nice, I'll take this chance. I'll give up on fighting it and get through the door. He decides, aiming for a deeper passage. A piercing, reptilian green eye of the Hydra locks onto Zeke with cold fury. 3 of the Hydra's monstrous heads strike venomously as Zeke dashes towards his escape. Zeke triumphantly thinks, I made it, as he lunges for the deeper passage. A sudden, chilling thought crosses his mind. What about the Hydra? Too late, a Hydra head snaps, catching Zeke midair, blood erupting from his side. He is violently thrown, a pain exclamation escaping his lips as he slammed. This damned snake, Zeke curses, staring at the relentless pursuer. He realizes with horror, I didn't think it would follow me in here. One head bites down on his arm. Zeke glares, if you want my arm that badly, then take it, he roars, channeling immense purple energy into a desperate strike. Q. Zeke gasps as his arm, now severed, glows with a strange, vibrant energy. The Hydra head swallows the detached limb as Zeke plummets, his gambit costly. A system alert flashes. Zeke's been poisoned, his arm glowing an ominous green. He retaliates, unleashing a devastating soul manifestation attack. The purple energy condenses, lacerate tearing through the Hydra's flesh. Zeke pours his power into the downward blast, a desperate, brilliant beam. The impaled Hydra head crashes violently, blood erupting from the wound. Another Hydra head, eyes gleaming with cold reptilian focus, turns its attention. Panting, Zeke stands defiant amidst the swirling dust, his clothes torn. He faces the monstrous maw of the final head, declaring, there's just one left. This is the end, he thinks, as a system message announces, Draconian Skill Dragon's Dignity has activated. A colossal vortex of purple energy swirls around Zeke, dwarfing the last Hydra head. Zeke, radiating purple energy, glares intensely, warning, screw off. If you don't want me to crush you, that is. The Hydra's reptilian eye widens, a flicker of something other than rage within it. The last Hydra head stares down at Zeke, sweat beating on its scales, clearly intimidated. It recoils further, its severed tail stump visible as it backs away from Zeke's overwhelming presence. The massive Hydra head slumps to the ground with a thud, defeated by Zeke's aura. Zeke, panting, muses, I didn't think Dragon's Dignity would work against a Dragonborn, damn it. I should have used it earlier. He wonders, anyway, why am I so tired when infinite stamina is always active? Is it because of the poison? As a system window appears, system notifications flash. You have struck fear into the fallen Dragonborn corrupted by contaminated energy, and will you activate the Dragonic Control Authority and subjugate the target Dragonborn? Zeke looks at the cowering Hydra head, realizing, I've struck fear in it. Is it because of using Dragon's Dignity earlier? He considers the implications. Whatever the reason, does this mean I'm going to be able to? As he looks at the now docile Dragonborn, Zeke contemplates, subjugate this absolute monster. As he eyes the defeated Hydra, with glowing eyes and renewed determination, Zeke decides, yeah, let's try it. His confident expression falters into a bewildered as a system chime sounds. System messages flash, administrator authority lacking, and subjugation failed, leaving Zeke stunned. Kneeling in disappointment, he sighs, geez, I was looking forward to it too. Admitting a restriction makes sense. Purple energy flickers across Zeke's face as an ominous feeling washes over him. He collapses, clutching his chest. A system warning, Hydra's poison has surpassed dangerous levels. Healing isn't working, Zeke realizes with dread, desperately thinking, there has to be a way. A sudden insight strikes him, oh, that's right, gluttony can consume bloodline abilities. As a skill description appears, he reasons, with such potent poison, it must have a bloodline ability for poison resistance. A system window pops up. Draconian skill gluttony has activated. Lying prone, Zeke unleashes gluttony dark. Shadowy tendrils erupt from him towards the defeated Hydra. The shadowy energy envelops the severed Hydra head, beginning to consume it. The Hydra's eye stares blankly as the consuming darkness whirls around it. System messages flooding. Gluttony consumed the head, skill ranked up, energy recovered. Bloodline ability absorbed, and incomplete poison resistance acquired. Zeke remains on the ground dark. Viscous poison now visibly seeping out of his arm and pooling beneath him. He slams his fist into the cracked floor, a surge of power or relief evident. System messages confirm, nine-headed dragon Hydra's poison has been detected and neutralized. By poison resistance, Zeke smirks, bingo. His low-rank administrator status window appears, now listing poison resistance under his constitution. A skill description clarifies poison resistance. Most poisons will be neutralized, Zeke thinks. The term mostly is bothering me. Zeke wonders, but does having this one skill mean I don't have to worry about poison? He then notices his gluttony skill has finally ranked up from beginner to expert. Is it because I absorbed an elimination target lifeform? Zeke ponders, looking at the system window. A system message explains subduing designated monsters yields extra rewards. Zeke notes the useful info. Well then, Zeke declares, I'll have to start moving now since the Hydra has been holding me back, and strides forward. The scene shifts, introducing hero King Kaiser, a legendary figure, half human, half fairy. Born to a sage and fairy monarch. Like other heroes, Kaiser's life was hard from birth. An evil mage's schemes led to his abandonment in a forest. A sacred wolf found the lone, crying Kaiser deep in the woods and raised him, allowing him to grow up safely. Kaiser later saved oppressed humans, creating a kingdom solely for them in the central continent, Kronos. A massive crowd cheers before a grand structure, as Zeke recalls. Every single person from the central continent knows of how Kaiser's legend began. Zeke recalls that historical records of Kronos are scarce, making it more legend than fact. However, he stands before undeniable proof of Kaiser and his kingdom's existence. He approaches a colossal structure, realizing this is the legendary Kronos kingdom. Though smaller than depicted in books, Zeke confirms these ruins are indeed Kronos. He notes a similarity to the Dragonslayer's home as he gazes at a massive, ornate gate. A system message announces the home of the hero King Kaiser is opened. The grand doors part, revealing a path of light leading to a glowing crystal. The camera focuses on the brilliant blue crystal, humming with power on a pedestal. Zeke reaches for the crystal, wondering if this is Kaiser's famed secret technique. A new system notification appears, an achievement quest linked to Kaiser's secret technique has begun. Zeke reacts with a huh, as a system warning declares he's trapped until the linked quest is done. He whirls around, shouting indignantly, hey, you. Who do you think you are? The system reveals the linked quest, Hero King Kaiser's Wisdom, with the reward being Fairy Monarch Tears. Zeke's eyes widen as he processes the quest, Hero King Kaiser's Wisdom. He ponders the reward, Fairy Monarch Tears, as an image of Kaiser's wish-granting mother appears. His determination flares, the reward is that Fairy Monarch's tears. Zeke eyes the crystal, acknowledging its cheat-level value, then asks, System, how do I obtain this wisdom? System messages confirm his request and begin extracting data from the magic video recording device. The crystal glows brighter as the system announces. Discovered entry 546 of Hero King Kaiser's magic video records. The system specifies 12 relevant entries, and multiple glowing portals materialize in the chamber. System messages announce the first of 12 magic video entries is replaying. Automatically translated from ancient Chronosian. From the crystal, a holographic Kaiser appears, questioning the nature of a lesser sword as Zeke watches. A stark caption declares, this is the man of legends. Kaiser, in the recording, chides sheltering for his shaky screen, revealing his most loyal knight. A younger figure, presumably a student, earnestly asks Kaiser how to wield the sword proficiently. Kaiser advises simply, it's nothing much. All you must do is swing your sword often and with vigor. With a glint in his eye, Kaiser continues, the question how much may come to mind. I will present the goal. A thin, glowing red line suddenly appears before the student, who stares in wide-eyed shock. The student stumbles back, surrounded by an ominous red aura, clearly impacted by Kaiser's demonstration. Kaiser's hand slams onto the ground with force, a shockwave emanating from the impact. Zeke gasps, such an overwhelming spirit was able to affect me, even though it's a recording. The holographic Kaiser stands tall, sword in hand, as Zeke realizes. So this is the wisdom of the Hero King. A confident smirk spreads across Zeke's face. I like it. He immediately requests system, replay the video I just saw from the beginning. And the system confirms. For days later, Zeke stands resolute, sword in hand, having locked himself into train. He notes the layout. There are 3 doors across the entrance of this training chamber. The first room reveals a massive food storage, stocked for months. The second offers a rest area, complete with a bath and bed to manage his condition. And the final room holds a vast collection of books and weapons of war. Zeke swings his sword fiercely, realizing this training room was for Kaiser's successor. Allowing pure focus, Zeke reflects, I can mimic the form I saw, but it doesn't feel quite right. A system window announces he's acquired Hero King Kaiser's Wisdom Elemental Sword, basic form. Then that he's surpassed basic to applied level. The applied level, Zeke wonders, as the system declares it's summoning Hero King Kaiser's soul. A colossal, luminous blue spirit, unmistakably Kaiser, materializes before a stunned Zeke. The ethereal Kaiser's feet hover just above the ground, radiating power. The system formally introduces the majestic apparition, the king of the ancient Chronos kingdom, Hero King Kaiser. Zeke stares in awe, exclaiming, I can't believe it. Hero King Kaiser is right in front of my eyes. Suddenly, the spectral Kaiser draws his sword, and Zeke's expression turns to alarm. Kaiser lunges, his ethereal blade clashing fiercely against Zeke's own sword. Zeke strains under the force of Kaiser's attack, demanding, what? Why are you suddenly? Kaiser's spirit effortlessly repels Zeke, sending him flying across the chamber. Zeke, shocked, exclaims, he blew me away with a guard, stand up, now. The ethereal Kaiser scoffs, you're going to learn my swordsmanship with such pathetic skills. Kaiser declares, the knights of old would pound the ground and lament at the sight. Overwhelming strength. Zeke, watching Kaiser approach, wonders, but why is it attacking me? To confirm my abilities. The spectral king lunges forward, his gaze fixed intently on Zeke. Kaiser unleashes another devastating sword strike, forcing Zeke to desperately defend. Zeke stumbles back, realizing, as if it's totally trying to kill me. A bead of sweat rolls down Zeke's face as he thinks, damn it. Will I be able to fight against him? Kaiser grins maniacally, his eyes wide, exuding an aura of an unreasonable monster. Zeke exhales, a determined no, escaping his lips as he steels himself. His sword clatters, but his resolve is clear. I just have to give it my everything. Zeke lunges, sword crackling with blue energy, shouting, here I come. His eyes blaze with fierce determination as he calls out, Hero King. The spectral Kaiser, intrigued, asks, oh, were you Sheltern's disciple? You've just barely succeeded. Zeke is violently thrown back, his blue energy-infused sword clashing against an unseen force. Kaiser casually wonders aloud, what was that power called again, Brora? Kaiser effortlessly parries Zeke's renewed aerial assault with a graceful swing. Pinned by Kaiser's overwhelming pressure, Zeke grits his teeth, his weight is strong. Kaiser smirks, easily deflecting Zeke's desperate downward strike, remarking, not that it matters. Their blades meet with a brilliant flash of golden light. Kaiser, easily holding Zeke back, declares, all that matters is how fun it is. A burst of energy erupts as Kaiser exclaims, now, let's have some fun. The training chamber becomes a blur of clashing swords and explosive impacts. Kaiser effortlessly deflects another of Zeke's desperate strikes with a blinding parry. Zeke's feet skid across the floor, struggling to maintain his footing. Panting, Zeke admits, I expected this to a degree, a bead of sweat on his brow. Kaiser's piercing blue eyes stare down, as Zeke's thought continues, but I didn't think. Zeke looks down, grimacing, there would be this much of a difference. Is he trying to establish why he's the Hero King? Despite the overwhelming odds, Zeke's resolve shines, however. I'm confident in my perseverance. System windows pop up, announcing a flurry of activated skills. Critical strike, high-speed movement, continuous slash, and draconian skill Dragon Claw. Zeke, engulfed in fiery orange aura, leaps high. A colossal flaming dragon claw manifesting behind him to strike. The massive dragon claw slams down, obliterating the ground where Kaiser stood in a fiery explosion. Kaiser emerges from the dust, intrigued. Despite not being a dragonoid, you wield draconian powers. Zeke, now crackling with intense purple energy, prepares his next move from the ground. Kaiser observes Zeke's new aura, questioning, even elemental force. Zeke unleashes soul manifestation lacerate, sending 3 spectral copies of himself rushing towards Kaiser. With gritted teeth and fierce eyes, Zeke pours all his will into the multi-pronged assault. Kaiser, however, meets the attack with a confident, almost mocking smirk, his eyes gleaming. Zeke lies sprawled in a crater, dazed and utterly bewildered, muttering a faint, "Huh?" Kaiser floats regally above a dazed Zeke, remarking, "Weakling, you've finally awoken." The Hero King acknowledges Zeke's talent, citing Sheltern's gifts, draconian powers, and elemental force. Suddenly, Kaiser's piercing blue eyes narrow as he utters a curious "HM?" Leaning closer, Kaiser reveals a startling truth. "You. Part of your soul is stuck in the spirit realm." Zeke stares back, sweat dropping, utterly bewildered by the mention of the spirit realm. Kaiser explains Zeke's ability to use elemental force makes sense, as he seemingly overcome death itself. Frustrated, Zeke sighs, asking for a comprehensible explanation of all these nonsensical topics. A subtle, knowing smirk plays on Kaiser's lips as he considers Zeke's request. Kaiser dismisses Zeke's confusion, urging him to recall his more important goal amidst the shattered floor. Pointing directly at Zeke, Kaiser prods, so the young boy pretends not to know what you are attempting to learn. Kaiser reveals his wisdom, conjuring elements as he speaks of the elemental sword. He explains elemental force as the pure essence of all things, showcasing swirling water. The demonstration continues, illustrating the raw power of earth and fire. Kaiser, wreathed in wind, declares the elemental sword applies these for basic elements. He channels icy power, embodying the very concept of the elemental sword. Kaiser unleashes a vast wind field, dwarfing Zeke with its sheer scale. The swirling vortex intensifies, revealing the devastating Tempest sword technique. The Hero King clarifies this wind attack draws power from the ether Zeke mentioned. Zeke, observing, realizes Kaiser's explanation and raw power are astounding. Looking down at the chasm carved by the attack, Kaiser states this is closer to magic, then challenges, "Now then, it's your turn." Zeke ponders if ether is the source, yet senses no such energy from Kaiser. Questioning the conversion, he directly asks Kaiser, "What's the method for converting ether into elemental force?" Kaiser stammers, his sword suddenly erupting in bright orange flames. A chibi Kaiser sheepishly admits, "I can just kind of do it," as Zeke laments his unhelpful masters. Zeke, with faint elemental traces around him, realizes he couldn't sense Kaiser's ether. Not that he simply didn't. Kaiser, his sword now crackling with icy blue energy, taunts, "Why can't you do this?" As Zeke marvels at his perfect control. "Okay, I'll just try it on my own," Zeke declares, prompting Kaiser to question his sudden confidence. A profound message appears, "Don't lose yourself in what you can see." Echoing Kaiser's earlier words about elemental force, Zeke recalls Kaiser identifying his soul manifestation as elemental force. During their previous clash, a smirk plays on Zeke's lips as he realizes, then soul manifestation is also a power that utilizes elemental force. Kaiser watches, intrigued, as Zeke's sword now pulses with a vibrant purple elemental energy. Zeke channels his power, declaring his technique, Soul Manifestation Gale, as his blade erupts in a white-blue aura. With fierce determination, Zeke pours his will into this new elemental manifestation. Kaiser scoffs from above. "What kind of knockoff imitation are you doing with that incantation of yours?" The Hero King elaborates, "Incantation is the exclusive domain of dragons, humans cannot use them." Kaiser observes that Zeke pushes himself past his limits whenever he uses that power. Recalling past struggles, he explains there's a marked difference in the very size of human and dragon souls. A dragon's silhouette appearing. "You may be able to imitate it," Kaiser continues, comparing a human soul to a dragon's, "but you'll never use it to the same effect." Kaiser delivers a harsh critique, his eyes glowing. It's a low-grade knockoff of incantation. Pathetic. Looking down at the seated Zeke, Kaiser challenges, "Now then, if you get it again." Zeke recalls, "I've seen mention of incantation before." He remembers absorbing Bahamut's heart in the Dragonslayer's home. A notification then stated incantation was acquired but unusable. The draconian skill incantation was locked due to insufficient experience. Zeke wonders if unlocking incantation means mastering soul manifestation too. This gives him yet another powerful reason to accelerate his growth. Kaiser impatiently yells from above, "Hurry up and get up," as Zeke scrambles. Application training was lengthy, but through spars, Zeke grasped Elemental Sword's principles. He learned Elemental Sword uses ether to drive elemental force, much like Monofuel's magic. Understanding the principles, Zeke found using Elemental Sword itself wasn't too hard. Kaiser turns, stating, I can finally bear to look at you as Zeke watches intently. The Hero King advises Zeke to rest, warning the next level will be incredibly harsh. Zeke, planting his sword, asks, "May I ask a few questions while I rest?" Kaiser casually agrees, and Zeke realizes even his floating utilizes elemental force. Zeke questions why Kaiser called him Sheltern's disciple upon seeing his aura. Kaiser reveals Sheltern believed humans couldn't use elemental sword, so he created the aura technique. Annoyed, Kaiser curses that damn Sheltern Draker as Zeke looks on in surprise. A startling revelation begins: the right-hand man of the Hero King, the noble knight Sheltern, was. Zeke is stunned, realizing Sheltern, founder of Aura, was also a Draker. With the Draker emblem shown, Zeke questions if Sheltern, not Terracon, was their true progenitor. Zeke processes the shocking revelation about Sheltern, finally stating, "I understand." He then shifts topics, asking Kaiser to explain the spirit realm, as he can now sense spirits but not the realm itself. Kaiser, with a snap of his fingers, prepares to demonstrate. Suddenly, a massive barrier of sharp, icy energy erupts, startling Zeke with its power. Zeke finds himself behind this translucent wall, realizing the elemental sword wind field can create such a barrier. Kaiser clarifies the spirit realm is akin to the afterlife, a place of no return once your body is left behind. Zeke, however, points out the contradiction. Kaiser himself is a soul, and part of Zeke's soul supposedly resides there. With another subtle finger snap, Kaiser acknowledges the query. The Hero King admits Zeke's situation is unusual, but reveals there are indeed ways to traverse between realms. Kaiser then discloses that, in his own case, a dragon assisted his passage, piquing Zeke's interest. Chibi Zeke exclaims, "A dragon," as Chibi Kaiser coolly asks, "Is there a problem?" Zeke voices his disbelief. Isn't there no way a dragon would help a human? While Kaiser looks perplexed, Kaiser turns to Zeke, stating firmly, "Dragons are beings that cherish humans." A close-up shows Zeke's utter shock, internally questioning, what the hell is he on about? Zeke stands bewildered, contrasting Kaiser's claim with the memory of Bahamut leading monsters to destroy the world. He clutches his head in confusion, wondering if ancient human-dragon relations were different. Kaiser strides closer, asserting, "Even if I don't explain it myself, you yourself are a living testament to this." The Hero King's hand moves deliberately towards Zeke's chest. As an image of Bahamut's heart appears over Zeke, Kaiser asks, "Your heart and the fang used to create your sword, were they not given to you by Bahamut?" Kaiser smiles knowingly, adding, "However questionable his character may be, he also has a cute side to him that cannot refuse a sincere request." Zeke realizes Kaiser and Bahamut were friendly, deciding to hide his own history with the dragon. He awkwardly claims Bahamut gifted his clan, admitting his previous misunderstanding. Kaiser chuckles, recalling Bahamut's temper often led to clashes with someone named Kronos. Zeke wonders aloud if Kronos is another dragon, and if the kingdom was named after him. Kaiser proudly states he was Kronos' contractor, naming the kingdom after the dragon who was casually drinking tea. An amused Zeke imagines a polymorphed dragon sipping tea. Kaiser reveals he named the kingdom so Kronos' name would echo through generations. The scene shifts, hinting at a story from thousands of years ago. A silhouette appears as Kaiser begins to speak of an ancient era where dragons and humans lived in harmony, as dragons soar around a magnificent tower. Kaiser continues, however, if an incredibly powerful dragon helped a human without a contract, the very balance of the world would collapse, as golden scales tip precariously. This imbalance would catastrophically endanger the entire realm, shown amidst fiery destruction. So, they would suppress their own strength, Kaiser explains, and polymorph into human form to help humanity through their contracts. He adds, just as it was with me, dragons called their contracted humans contractors. Zeke realizes, so the reason these ancient figures were so powerful was because they were receiving help from dragons. He then questions, then why did a rift between dragons and humans form? As Kaiser impatiently says, Zeke retorts, you've waited over 2,000 years for a successor. As Kaiser grumbles about his disciple's attitude, energy swirls around Kaiser's feet as he declares, the final courses. A duel against me, Kaiser proclaims, his eyes glowing as he draws his sword. Kaiser smirks, however. This alone won't be different as Zeke senses a shift in his aura. With a commanding gesture, Kaiser declares, eating and sleeping will be forbidden from now on. Zeke listens as Kaiser adds, and the duel will continue until I say we stop. Kaiser imposes another condition, you may only use an elemental sword of the same element as mine, prompting Zeke to ask about breaking rules. Kaiser's eyes flare as he unleashes a fiery elemental sword. The surroundings erupt into a blazing flame field. Kaiser initiates a devastating dance of flames within the inferno. Turning, Kaiser, wreathed in fire, menacingly asks Zeke, break the rules, you say? A close-up reveals Kaiser's determined expression, surrounded by the intense heat. Flames roar as text explains. Elemental sword is split into 4 fields that each correspond to an element. Kaiser demonstrates the first field, founded on the element of fire. His sword blazes, embodying the flame field. This field unleashes immense heat and flames, boasting overwhelming destructive power. Zeke stands firm, bracing himself against the inferno. His eyes reflect the raging fire, determination hardening his gaze. Next, Kaiser introduces the steel field, based on the element of earth. With a powerful downward slash, Kaiser summons the earth's might. The steel field specializes in subduing and defending, controlling solidity and mass. Zeke grits his teeth, his eyes glowing as he faces the crushing pressure. Kaiser launches an attack, shattering the ground around a defending Zeke. Zeke, bloodied and dirt-stained, stares in wide-eyed shock at Kaiser's display. Kaiser then unleashes the wind field, founded on the element of wind, as sharp gusts fill the air. Zeke braces himself, caught within the maelstrom of slicing wind currents. Kaiser notes that compared to the flame field, the wind field lacks raw power. However, its true strength lies in attack speed, swift movement, and enhancing sword aura. Finally, Kaiser introduces the last field, that which is founded on the element of water. A blue sword cuts through swirling currents, heralding the water field. This versatile field serves for both potent attacks and staunch defenses. As water clashes between them, Zeke finds himself ensnared by water, showcasing its power for suppression and support. A colossal wave of water crashes down, demonstrating the overwhelming scale of the water field. The water field is as variable as water itself, possessing versatile and well-balanced strength. Kaiser unleashes a colossal water attack, dwarfing Zeke below. Zeke, bloodied and shocked, exclaims, "Damn it, just what is this? Both my power and range should be greater." But, struggling against the torrent, Zeke wonders, what is this gap between us? He's completely engulfed by the overwhelming rush of water, barely holding his ground. Suddenly, a battered Zeke grins, a spark of understanding in his eyes. His eyes gleam with manic determination as he braces himself, a new idea forming. Looking up at Kaiser, Zeke asks, "Isn't it fine as long as I unleash the right attribute?" Kaiser clarifies that while other fields rely on manifesting attributes, the water field is all about fluidity. Overpowering Zeke, Kaiser declares, "Fluidity will trump strength, don't you understand, now again?" Zeke scoffs, "Damn it. What bullshit are you spouting? How does fluidity win against strength?" He recalls a painful past. "I submitted because I lacked the strength to fight back." Another memory surfaces. "I lost what was precious to me because I lacked the strength to protect." Text appears, "In order to survive." Zeke's eyes blaze red as he declares, "I sought nothing but strength my entire life." He continues, "However, now you're telling me that fluidity will win over strength. There's no way I could understand." Water explodes as their swords clash once more. Zeke's eye glints with fierce resolve amidst the churning water. Kaiser, unimpressed, asks, "Did I just nod off during our duel?" as their water-infused blades lock. A powerful wave from Kaiser sends Zeke hurtling backward. Zeke tumbles through the air, water exploding around him as he thinks, "Well." Catching himself, Zeke admits, "I did stop bothering to keep track after the 15th day." He reflects that it's likely been a month of this relentless duel, without food or rest. As Kaiser looms, Kaiser, standing amidst swirling water, reveals he's learned infinite stamina isn't absolute against an overwhelming foe. Kaiser's eye gleams with a chilling intensity, a silent understanding passing. With a surge of power, Kaiser unleashes another torrent of water, a maelstrom engulfing him. Zeke struggles against the watery assault, crying out, "Damn it. I can't put any strength into my arm now." The ground beneath them is a treacherous, slick surface of churning water. Zeke, tattered and wide-eyed, fights to maintain his footing on the slippery floor. Suddenly, a colossal geyser of water erupts from the ground, blasting debris everywhere. Zeke struggles, pushing back against Kaiser's relentless watery onslaught. Gritting his teeth, Zeke realizes, "I managed to parry that heavy attack." As Kaiser's glowing eyes stare him down, Kaiser's words echo, "Fluidity will trump strength," as a defeated Zeke is shown. A sudden, knowing smirk spreads across Zeke's face. "Now I get it." He reflects on the raw will, the strength to grip one sword, and the strength to remain standing. After casting it all aside, Zeke thinks, amidst a torrent of pure, flowing energy, "I've finally begun to understand Kaiser's words," as they stand within a colossal watery vortex. Zeke considers the methods I've learned as crimson chains materialize around him. He understands that trying to control a blade's arc and strikes do nothing but bind its freedom. A new resolve forms, cut away these unnecessary shackles, and just like how water flows, as the chains shatter, Zeke realizes the flow of power from above to below, mirroring the water. A new understanding dawns. He must create his own path. He and Kaiser clash. Water are seen dynamically around their movements. Zeke recalls a past battle, a moment when his sword and self became indistinguishable. In that memory, he felt an unparalleled connection with the world itself. This newfound understanding of flow can be, at times, violent. Their battle continues, Zeke now moving with the water, not against it. And at other times, the flow is a swirling, powerful current. Kaiser observes, as Zeke embodies this refined, fluid power. A subtle, almost proud smirk appears on Kaiser's face, his eyes gleaming. Zeke's eyes gleam with a newfound, almost feral confidence. Their blades meet, sending a shockwave of water across the field. Zeke plunges his sword down, the water itself becoming an extension of his will. Kaiser mirrors the motion, his own blade shimmering with fluid power. Both warriors grin, their eyes locked as the words elemental sword appear. The technique is named Waterfield, Water's Edge. Suddenly, the watery battlefield gives way to a towering, sun-drenched structure. The illusion shatters, revealing Kaiser standing over a kneeling Zeke in a golden arena. Kaiser looks down, a single word escaping his lips, magnificent. He proclaims, "You are the successor to my teachings, Zeke Draker." A blinding light fills Zeke's vision as he wonders, did I pass out? He awakens on the shattered floor, realizing, this is my second time losing consciousness. A memory surfaces of his duel with Duke, where system force fatigue knocked him out. He reflects that this time, unlike before, he collapsed from pure physical exhaustion. Groggy and disoriented, Zeke calls out, Kaiser? Sitting up, he finds himself alone in the ruined arena, a large crystal nearby. Surveying the empty chamber, he questions if Kaiser returned to the spirit realm. A pressing concern arises, then what about the quest? Zeke sits, pondering his recent use of Waterfield, feeling he performed adequately. Suddenly, a faint blue glow emanates from his arm, catching his attention. Zeke stares in shock as blue system notifications flare up around his face. Quest completion messages flooding, announcing rewards like Fairy Monarch's tears and karma points. Much to Zeke's satisfaction, his administrator writes Elevate, unlocking an intermediate quest book, an item hotkey, and minimap portal transportation. The system declares his soul has grown, partially unlocking the seal on Bahamut's heart, now at 90%. Zeke's updated status window reveals a host of new skills and improved abilities, including Elemental Sword S-Rank Beginner. Overwhelmed by the sheer volume of updates, Zeke sighs. Reading through all of this is going to be a lot of work. His attention narrows to the crucial notification, the seal on Bahamut's heart has been partially unlocked due to his soul's growth. Zeke decides to investigate further, focusing on the current seal percentage, 90%. He recalls that upon absorbing Bahamut's heart, its power was 95% sealed because he couldn't handle it. A flashback shows his past attempt to unlock the seal, which the system rejected due to potential harm. Zeke realizes, having faced overwhelming power, he can currently only handle 10% of Bahamut's heart. He wonders if incantations or draconic control are tied to the seal percentage. Deciding to monitor the seal, Zeke shifts his focus. Next is the random boxes. 3 glowing boxes materialize, a reward for his quest, alongside a description for meteoric iron boots. Durable yet light lower body armor, also crafted from meteoric iron, appears from another box. The final box reveals delicate crystal earrings that boost mana recovery speed. Zeke smirks, holding an earring. I bet I could sell this to a mage for a good price. With new boots and leg armor matching his gauntlets, he thinks, it won't be long until I have a full set. His gaze drops, thoughtful and escaping his lips. Zeke's eyes fix on to gleaming golden items, the random skill cards. Zeke muses that these random skill cards must, as the name implies, contain skills. 3 golden cards burst open with a shower of light and stars, revealing their contents. The first skill materializes, Static Discharge Rank C, allowing him to shock targets through touch. 2 more Rank C skills appear, Flashbang to disable vision and Dissonance to disrupt hearing. Zeke looks a bit let down by the C-rank skills, but reasons that high-rank skills shouldn't come easy. He decides to test one, activating Static Discharge, and his dagger crackles with blue electricity. Impressed by the electrical output, Zeke questions if this power is truly just rank C. A smirk plays on his lips. The skill's power is decent for its rank, and he sees its versatility. Zeke imagines combining Flashbang and Dissonance, potentially surpassing his previous exam artifact. He then remembers his administrator level increased, eager to explore new system functions, and quickly locates them. Zeke examines the new item hotkey slot, allowing items to be used like skills. He strokes his chin, thinking it could be handy in an emergency. But with his healing factor and infinite stamina, He wonders what he'd even need to slot. No, wait, he reconsiders, his eyes sharp with a new thought. He recalls that even his seemingly all-powerful skills have disadvantages. Remembering Kaiser's strength, a vision of himself, pierced by swords, reminds him he hasn't confirmed the true limits of his healing factor. Murphy's Law is a thing. After all, he mutters, tapping the system interface. Notifications pop up. He's purchased a top-grade healing potion Salvation and registered it to a hotkey. The Salvation Potion, Javik's masterpiece, instantly recovers mortal wounds and stamina but has an unknown effect and can only be used once. Zeke acknowledges the unexpected expense, hoping its power justifies its cost as a backup. Zeke holds a glowing blue vial, declaring, finally, the most important reward. A system window identifies it as Fairy Monarch's Tears, shed for Kaiser. A one-time use item to summon her from the spirit realm. His eyes widen in disbelief. It can summon the Fairy Monarch. A vision of a radiant, ethereal female figure appears, a legendary being said to grant wishes. Zeke ponders, if Kaiser's legends were true, could summoning her grant me a wish? He rereads the description, realizing with its single use I can't afford to test it out. Zeke brings the vial close, his expression thoughtful as he considers its immense power. Deciding to save it, he states, I'll hold off on it for now. He stands before a brightly lit portal, certain, as long as I'm holding onto it, the time to use it will come. The portal opens to a sun-dappled forest path, beckoning him towards a new journey. A glowing magic circle marks his exit from the portal. Zeke emerges, a swirl of dust and energy marking his arrival. He surveys his new surroundings. He's arrived at an adventurer's outpost, confirming the transportation worked. Zeke notes the minimap icon, realizing this is the new system portal transportation. System prompts ask if he wants to use the portal and to select a destination. A minimap displays travel options with point cost varying by distance. Zeke realizes he can travel freely across the continent and conceal his movements. He strokes his chin. This will be useful in my plans from here on. Suddenly, Zeke looks up, a question mark appearing as if he sensed something. Zeke stands in a sunlit forest, puzzled. Why are there flowers in winter? He gazes at distant, snow-capped mountains, a dawning realization hitting him. There's no way. Right? The scene shifts to Valhalla, the central continent's top night academy, bustling with students. Inside, a dean walks down an ornate, sunlit corridor, remarking, in the 10 years I've been a dean. The dean meticulously trims a bonsai tree, continuing, I've never seen a case like yours. Zeke, looking weary, faces the dean, who notes his month-late arrival. While Zeke laments his long confinement, holding a letter, Zeke explains a clause in his entrance guide gives the dean authority over related missions. Zeke's eyes gleam with resolve. He must enter this year to access Terracon's secret library. Zeke begins his plea, claiming he lost consciousness during intense, unifying training to make up for lost time. The dean's hand, holding bonsai scissors, pauses mid-snip, seemingly considering Zeke's elaborate excuse. The dean, silhouetted against a large window, questions Zeke's claim of unity. Valhalla Dean Flaubert Borges scoffs. Is that all you could come up with for missing the entrance ceremony? Borges is a renowned knight from the kingdom of Thebia, a former royal guard with a long tradition. Patriarch Arthur Draker himself visited Borges 3 times to convince him to become dean. A famous tale. Zeke smirks, knowing an emotional argument will backfire with a man who values honor and order. Bowing deeply, Zeke abandons his excuse, admitting, I have no excuses whatsoever for my absence. That is the truth, Dean. The dean clears his throat, thoughtfully stating, unity is not easily achieved. Borges continues, if you were any other cadet, I would have dismissed it as absurd. But you received a letter of recommendation from the Academy's dean. Borges reveals, I will arrange a place for you. Stunning Zeke. The dean sets a condition. If your month-long training is determined to have been worth more than a month at Valhalla, then I will permit your enrollment. Zeke internally thanks the dean, annoyed it's due to Howard, but accepts. Beggars can't be choosers. Dean Borges decisively presses a small bell on his desk. An aide appears, and Borges commands, reserve an empty training room this instant. He continues, and tell the full professors of each department there will be an extra entrance exam. They must gather immediately. Zeke now stands alone in the vast Valhalla Cadet individual training room. A bead of sweat rolls down Zeke's face as he observes, perhaps it's because it's Valhalla. He recognizes the assembled professors as renowned knights, figures he's seen in continental news. Dean Borges, flanked by professors, addresses Zeke from a raised dais. Now then, since everyone is here. With an intense gaze, Borges demands, show us the fruits of the training you claim to have undertaken. The dean and the other stern-faced professors watch Zeke, awaiting his demonstration. Zeke, sword resting on his shoulder, contemplates, what should I show them? He knows revealing his elemental sword is out of the question for this demonstration. The pressure from the continent's top knight trainers is immense. Old tricks won't impress them. A confident, almost wicked, grin spreads across Zeke's face as blue energy starts to flare. Swirls of azure power gather round his feet. He'll give them a taste of his real capabilities. Blue flames erupt around Zeke, his eyes glowing intensely as he channels his power. A professor, utterly astonished, stammers, "And my word," as Zeke's sword ignites. Another professor, eyes wide with shock, can only manage that's. Zeke stands poised, his weapon transformed into a colossal blue aura blade, stunning the onlookers. To professors' murmur and disbelief, Zeke's a blue knight at 15, shattering Sir Abel's record of 19. Zeke internally panics, damn it, they might think I'm a golden awakener. He recalls Kaiser's disdain for aura, after facing only Kaiser for months. Zeke realizes I'd completely forgotten how to hold back my aura. The professors continue to murmur, but Zeke feels a wave of relief. He smirks, glad they only perceive him as a blue knight. Zeke reflects, before Kaiser, his aura was indeed at a blue knight's level. However, learning the elemental sword, including the water field, changed everything. His aura broke through, reaching the red knight level, a key difference in aura blade use. An aura blade wraps the sword in sharp energy. A blue knight can only manifest and maintain it. A red knight, however, can freely change its form while keeping its deadliness. Zeke internally sighs with relief, glad he only showed his aura blade. Avoiding further complications, a professor, utterly stunned, shouts incredible, completely blown away by the display. Dean Borges beams, declaring such an awakening justifies even years of lateness. A stark change in demeanor. Zeke, however, bows deeply again, humbly apologizing for his incompetence despite the praise. The dean turns to the assembled faculty, asking if any oppose Zeke's entrance into Valhalla. The professors unanimously approve, citing his aura blade's clarity as rare even among active knights. Dean Borges, with a knowing look, confirms to Zeke, it is as they say. He then officially congratulates a smirking Zeke Draker on his successful enrollment. The scene transitions to an aerial view, introducing Midland Atlas, a vast city in the continent's center. This region is home to Valhalla, the continent's top training facility, and the Drakers' Four Seasons Fortress. The Four Seasons Fortress is revealed, known as the Drakers' true main castle. A pristine white shoe takes a confident step forward. Zeke, now in his Valhalla uniform, gazes up at a grand, imposing building. This opulent structure is Atlas, Zeke's personal mansion, a gift from his family. Reaching for the door, Zeke internally questions if this lavishness is too much, even with his new status. As the heavy doors swing open, bright light and shadowy figures greet him. Confetti rains down as Zeke is met with a surprise. Congratulations on your entrance to Valhalla. He's stunned to see Kaiser and instructor Andre, both wearing ridiculous clown get-ups. Kaiser, beaming with pride and a clown nose, ruffles Zeke's hair, impressed by his disciple's unique entrance. With a sly grin, Kaiser snaps his fingers, ready to begin the celebration, leaving Zeke utterly bewildered. After arriving at his Atlas mansion, Zeke finds Kaiser and Andre threw a surprise enrollment party. Zeke learns Kaiser was recalled to the Four Seasons Fortress, then decided to become his mansion's housekeeper. Andre, meanwhile, has become an assistant professor at Valhalla, seemingly just to follow Zeke. Kaiser and Andre roar with laughter, thoroughly enjoying Zeke's bewildered and unamused expression. Zeke internally fumes. Why decide all this about my mansion without even asking me? The Grand Atlas mansion stands silent, unaware of the chaos within its walls. Later, a spilled bottle and messy plates show the aftermath of their raucous celebration. Kaiser and Andre are completely passed out at the table, surrounded by empty bottles. Night falls, the moon shining brightly through the mansion's arched window. The scene shifts to a lively, crowded tavern, buzzing with chatter and activity. A cloaked figure slides a coin across the bar, ordering 1 beer. He then adds, "And I'd like to meet Kay." The lively tavern instantly falls silent, all eyes turning towards the bar. A confident smirk plays on the cloaked man's lips, hidden in shadow. A golden Draker emblem glows on his gloved hand as he asks, "What? You want to go?" Several armed men in the tavern gasp, recognizing the crest, D. Draker. The patrons quickly look away, a palpable tension filling the now quiet room. The flustered bartender stammers, "And my apologies," clearly intimidated. He nervously continues, "I should have stopped them, but..." The cloaked figure coolly reaches for a bottle of wine from behind the bar. The bartender, now composed, offers, "I will guide you to the branch manager." The cloaked figure strides down a secure, torchlit corridor, noting Kay's typical caution. He reflects on his past life, recalling the continent's greatest intelligence organizations. Two were well known, but a third, Syndicate, operated in the shadows. Syndicate began as smugglers, but K transformed them into a formidable intelligence network. The figure, a younger, scarred Zeke, remembers his desperate past as a Syndicate hitman. He recalls K approaching him by a campfire with a crucial mission. K aimed to expand Syndicate's reach, rivaling even the Black Order. A flashback shows K, beaten but resolute after the Empire had taken everything from her. K then hands the younger Zeke vital information, details on an artifact the Emperor covets. K, in a flashback, warns the younger Zeke, be careful, it won't be easy, as she aided his revenge. Zeke reflects that without K, he'd never have obtained the crucial artifact that changed his fate. The branch manager, leading Zeke, declares information is a weapon. As Zeke ponders the unpredictable future, Zeke strides forward, confident that maintaining this deal with K will be advantageous. He enters a vast, dimly lit chamber, spotting a lone figure at a distant desk. Zeke calmly strikes a match, the flame flickering in the darkness. Holding the lit match, Zeke observes the figure, thinking, K's tastes are the same as ever. The figure, revealed to be K, elegantly lights her cigarette with the offered flame. Under the stark light of an overhead lamp, K begins to speak, K looks directly at the cloaked Zeke, questioning, why does the rising star of the Draker family? K, cigarette in hand, finishes her question, want to meet with me? From above, Zeke cuts straight to the point, don't beat around the bush, tell me the key points. The cloaked Zeke reveals his intention, I want to open up trade with the Syndicate. K, exhaling smoke, considers his bold proposal with a thoughtful tilt. She questions why a high and noble Draker prodigy needs a criminal organization like the Syndicate. Zeke internally acknowledges her intel, she must already be aware of what happened in Valhalla. That's impressive. With arms crossed, Zeke senses her hesitation, seeing as you're playing games. It looks like you're not up to the idea. K taps the table, countering, why don't you make a decision after you see what I have? She presents earrings. They're not just earrings, it's an artifact. Try them on. You might be surprised. As K tries an earring, red energy flickers, and she muses, do they enhance mana recovery or something? K, surrounded by red energy, scoffs, unfortunate, but those are common enough. Suddenly, her cigarette snaps into sparks flying. K gasps, flustered, what is this? My recovery rate improved by 10%. No, maybe 15%. She realizes this artifact surpasses even impressive ones, which only offer 3% recovery. K stares intently, wondering if Zeke has an unknown route or found this himself. She looks at the cloaked figure, a new understanding dawning. This guy. Zeke smirks, are you down to talk now? While K internally panics, who the hell is he? He instructs her, you can open a new account using the sealed personal statement you got. K reflects, although I expected the earrings. He wants me to sell unknown artifacts on his behalf. She reviews the terms, 10% per item, plus a bonus, thinking, this is the upper limit I imagined. K realizes Zeke knows she's a magician, deducing he has significant information access. Zeke firmly places the agreement on the table, stating, I agree with these terms. K smiles, waving with the sealed document, good luck to both of us, young master. Zeke raises a finger, you're going to need it. Oh, I have one question I want to ask. With a knowing smirk, Zeke inquires, is your ghost ship okay? A chill runs down K's spine, her expression frozen in shock. K stares down, surrounded by shadowy figures, demanding, where did you hear about that? Zeke laughs, hands open innocently, I'm just asking. Why are you so on edge? Against a dark, swirling void, Zeke warns, it's okay to threaten me. But, are you sure you can handle the aftermath? Zeke's eye glows intensely, his power palpable as he issues his chilling challenge. K stares up, engulfed by the overwhelming pressure of Zeke's aura. She trembles, sweat beating, as the weight of his power bears down on her. Her Syndicate members below also feel the immense pressure, cowering before Zeke. K curses internally, realizing her information on Zeke Draker is dangerously incomplete. Zeke, radiating dark energy, suggests they relocate. Knowing the Syndicate stands no chance against him, the scene shifts to K's opulent office where Zeke, now uncloaked, stands before her desk. He presents a contractive oath, a common tool for magicians, a smirk playing on his lips. The camera focuses on the ancient script of the magical contract. A hand signs the document in blood red ink, a standard practice for binding magical deals. The dire consequence of betrayal is shown, a seal appears, and breaking the oath means death. Betrayal of this magical oath means not just death, but an unending, crippling restriction. K, relieved he understands the stakes, urges him to sign, seeking assurance against future harm. Zeke, unfazed, draws his own blood with a small blade to seal their pact. With his blood as ink, The contract is swiftly signed, binding their fates. A radiant magical seal forms above as Zeke declares his willingness to sign anything to gain her trust. The contract's magic flares intensely, solidifying their dangerous agreement. Glowing sigils sear onto Zeke's forearms, the visible marks of their unbreakable vow. Zeke turns, declaring their partnership official as Kay watches from her desk. Casually taking a seat, Zeke probes deeper. Is Markin using your ghost ship for Soma distribution? Kay sighs, hand to her head, clearly overwhelmed by Zeke's relentless and accurate intel. Kay, still reeling, admits, I don't know how you're aware of my boat, but she concedes. You're right, I'm using it for distributing Soma for Markin. The scene clarifies Soma is a potent drug, currently banned throughout the kingdom. Zeke reveals that after the Civil War, the southern continent became a Soma hotspot, likely due to the transcendent household's influence. Kay, lighting a fresh cigarette, smirks, yes. Even Markin would want to avoid conflict with the transcendent household. A map details how the transcendent household Ishtar controls the desert, cutting off land trade to the south. Kay explains that with land routes blocked and Pabella controlling most sea routes, she leveraged the syndicate's own sea network. The names Markin and Pabella flash on screen, hinting at key players. A map illustrates the lawless southern region, split between Markin in the north and Pabella in the south. While Markin exploited land routes for Soma, Pabella was forced to pioneer new sea routes. However, with Ishtar closing their doors, Markin had no choice but to seek new sea routes. And by then, Pabella, with their vast fleet, already had full control of the seas. Kate, lighting up, dismisses the history, demanding, how did you learn about my ghost ship? The syndicate's ghost ship, she explains, uses an invisibility spell to avoid unwanted eyes. This allows them to evade both pirates and the Navy, making it a vital, secret source of income. Zeke smirks. Since I can't say I learned this in the past, is an information broker asking for information? Kay is momentarily stunned as Zeke pivots. Shouldn't you be focused on Pabella's offer? She admits Pabella offered double their Markin deal to cut ties, but Zeke bluntly advises, reject their offer. Zeke elaborates, while it slows rivals, losing Markin means losing a key Soma client. A tough decision. Then Zeke delivers a shocker. What if I told you the Pabella were pirates, defeated by the Knight of White Silver? Kay's eyes widen. Kay shouts, no way. Pabella are known for keeping true to principles, unlike those stupid pirates. Zeke reveals the true purpose of the Pabella is trying to find your hidden treasure, the syndicate's hidden sea route. Kay scoffs. Unlike Markin, who want to keep the goose that lays golden eggs alive, Pabella would bombard the ghost ship with attacks. She slams her hand down. The southern pirates and Pabella are separate. How can you say that? Zeke counters, shouldn't you be paying for information first? Zeke smirks, all I want is this one simple thing. Get me to Don Juan, the boss of the Markin. Kay looks stunned as Zeke adds, if you do, I can make you the boss of the syndicate. The scene transitions to a grand estate under a full moon. A cloaked figure, Zeke, strides purposefully through a darkened courtyard. Zeke muses internally. Although Key's network of information is impressive, it's not enough. His thoughts continue in the past. The fastest way of gaining access to the syndicate's information, Zeke recalls his past method, was to even the playing field and absorb any organizations along the way. Kay, resolute, thinks of Don Juan, just you wait. She vows, the small flame that I started today will grow in intensity and eventually consume you. The scene shifts to a peaceful park. A student in uniform engrossed in a book. A sprawling complex is revealed, the prestigious night nurturing facility Valhalla. Zeke, now in Valhalla uniform, notes its really free atmosphere, unlike other academies. He waits, thinking, according to the dean, if I wait here, a guide will come to get me. But suddenly, a voice calls out from behind him. Yo? A confident, tattooed student approaches, asking, any chance you're Zeke, the guy Dean mentioned? The student grins, pointing to himself, here, ready to be Zeke's guide. Zeke stares blankly as the enthusiastic student points, a question mark hanging in the air. The guide remarks Zeke needs to shed his stiff academy blood. Brushing off his shoulder, Zeke coolly asks, are you the guide that the dean sent? The guide, taken aback by Zeke's formal tone, exclaims, what's with the tone, man? He confirms his role, promising to show Zeke every nook and cranny. As Zeke internally notes his talkativeness, the guide suddenly remembers his manners and blurts out, I'm Diego, making Zeke's eyes widen slightly. Diego strikes a pose, declaring himself Diego Villa, an evangelist of New Age fusion music. Zeke calmly agrees, yeah. Let's get along, Diego, much to Diego's surprise. As they walk, Diego suggests Zeke is warming up, but Zeke replies, that depends on my mood. Zeke internally recognizes him. Diego Villa, the metered knight. destined to be one of the 5 Divine Knights. The title The 5 Divine Knights appears, Heroes of the Continental War. 3 shadowed figures are named, Bishop Castic, Geoffric Solma, and Asta Eladopol. Next, Raina Draker, the Lightning Knight, is dynamically revealed. And finally, Diego Villa, the Metered Knight, strikes an action pose. Diego wonders aloud if all Divine Knights were Valhalla alumni, a thought Zeke internally registers. As Zeke considers quickly strengthening his influence, Diego suggests trying Southern cuisine. Zeke admits he lacks fond memories of Southern food, but Diego insists he just hasn't had the good stuff. Zeke hesitantly takes a bite of the food Diego recommended. To his surprise, Zeke declares, "This is good," as Diego beams proudly. Diego boasts this Valhalla-exclusive Shark Dragon food is acknowledged even by him, a Southern native. Diego asks if Zeke's been to the South, but Zeke claims he's only heard a bit about it. Zeke then questions how a Southern native like Diego ended up at Valhalla. Diego reveals his parents rule a small Southern kingdom, stunning Zeke with the realization that the Metered Knight is royalty. A map details the Southern continent, a coalition of kingdoms, and its history of immigration after the Cusco kingdom's collapse. Diego proudly proclaims himself a prince, while Zeke internally questions such undignified royalty. Diego complains about traditionalists insisting he carry on the royal family's twin swordsmanship. A flashback shows a younger, glowing-eyed Diego, a twin sword prodigy, explaining his path to Valhalla. Diego declares he'll pursue music instead of swordsmanship, much to Zeke's bemusement. As Diego tries to recruit Zeke for a music club, Zeke bluntly refuses, just as to other students pass by. Entering a vast lecture hall, Zeke questions their presence, but Diego emphasizes Valhalla's absolute freedom for learning. Diego excitedly mentions today's special lecture, promising something huge. While Zeke internally sighs at his chatter, Zeke overhears nearby students whispering, confirming they're talking about him. Whispers reveal Zeke Draker is Valhalla's youngest enrollee, a direct descendant, and a prodigy who even bested an instructor. Diego whirls around, exclaiming, "Huh, bro, you're a Draker," as other students stare. Zeke, annoyed, raises his gloved hand, questioning what Diego thought it was, leaving Diego puzzled. He furiously clarifies they're pureblood gloves, the unmistakable mark of a pureblood Draker Awakener, shocking Diego. Diego's eyes spiral in disbelief, stammering he had no clue, even after Zeke wore them while eating. Zeke smirks, musing that Diego, a supposed guide, didn't even recognize the pureblood gloves. Diego trembles, still processing the revelation. As Zeke notes, this is a typical reaction to a pureblood awakener. Suddenly, a light bulb flashes above Diego's head. He exclaims Zeke's hardest demeanor now makes perfect sense. Zeke, sweating slightly, thanks this guy as Diego's realization sinks in. Diego playfully grabs Zeke, joking, "You should have paid for our meal if you were a Draker." "Ha. Just kidding." Nearby students observe, noting Diego hasn't quieted down but has become even rowdier. At the front of the lecture hall, a distinguished man claps his hands sharply. The man, likely the dean, calls out, "Attention, everyone," to the assembled students. Students, including Zeke, look towards the speaker in the grand lecture hall. Zeke realizes so this special lecture is being held by the dean, understanding the large turnout. As the dean speaks, Diego tries to show Zeke lyrics, but Zeke insists they at least pretend to listen. The dean announces he had a hard time bringing their special guest, a Black Knight of Draker. Returning from the field, Zeke smirks, internally noting the Black Knight's return to the Four Seasons fortress and pondering his future. International activities. Applause erupts as the guest speaker is revealed. It's Sir Duke Draker. Students buzz, recognizing him as Duke Draker, the Grey Knight, the Black Knight who vanished and was recently spotted near the Four Seasons fortress. Duke Draker humbly states it's an honor that students remember him, even after he left the front lines. He begins his lecture, sharing he rose to Black Knight from Valhalla's normal class, impressing some students. As Duke Draker continues, the students' expressions range from attentive to slightly weary. 2 hours later, Duke Draker is still bragging, making one student exasperatedly wonder if he'll ever stop. The dean tactfully interrupts, announcing they're out of time, earning a silent "nice job, Dean" from the audience. The dean then introduces the second speaker, someone so renowned, no introduction is needed. Zeke's eyes widen as the dean reveals this busy guardian knight made time to attend. A hierarchy chart clarifies Draker Knight ranks, normal, intermediate, advanced, and the elite guardian knights at the very top. Zeke muses that with fewer than 10 guardian knights, the second speaker must also be prominent. The dean, looking slightly stressed, glances down, a bead of sweat on his temple. He checks his gold wristwatch. The lecture hall clock behind him shows time is pressing. Footsteps approach, revealing long, flowing, intricately braided silver hair. A white and gold armored boot steps elegantly into view, hinting at a knightly figure. Zeke, resting his chin on his gloved hand, observes the newcomer with keen interest. Students whisper about the figure's platinum blonde hair and white full-plate armor, though her identity is unknown to them. Diego, ecstatic, exclaims he's so glad he came to Valhalla, a sentiment echoed by another student. Another student gasps, I can't believe I'm getting to see the white silver knight in person. Zeke jolts in his seat, eyes wide with utter shock, exclaiming what? As the figure pauses. Zeke stares, a shocking realization dawning, then that person is. The text reveals her lineage, the first of the Draker's direct descendants. She is unveiled. The white silver knight, a striking figure in brilliant armor. A map highlights Azon, a crucial port for sea travel on the central continent. Its strategic position secures trade routes to the Dolta Republic and even the eastern continent. Decades ago, however, Azon was a lawless den, overrun by southern pirates committing heinous crimes. Then Carly Draker, a formidable knight of the Draker family, began her campaign to reclaim the port. After 5 relentless years, her efforts purged Azon of all pirates. Under Draker protection, Azon transformed into the greatest port city, free from pirate threats. The surviving pirates were forced to retreat, hiding in the treacherous, deathly water south of Dolta. Carly's valor in Azon earned her the title of youngest guardian knight. Zeke internally marvels. This was a feat even his past self, Abel, couldn't match. The white silver knight, Carly, stands before the buzzing lecture hall. Zeke, stunned, admits he expected a VIP, but never his own eldest sister. He recalls Carly is also locked in a succession battle against Abel Draker. Zeke realizes he didn't recognize her because in his past life, Carly was already gone. Carly takes a deep, commanding breath before the silent assembly. Her armored fingers tap sharply on the podium, demanding attention. With a resounding voice, Carly commands, silence, instantly quiet in the hall. The students, including a visibly shaken Diego, tremble under her powerful presence. Students cower, instantly trembling in fear from the guardian knight's shout. Carly scolds their lack of discipline, contrasting it with the Valhalla she knew. She passionately asks if they think peace came without cost, reminding them of past sacrifices. Zeke, sweating, nervously thinks, is this how it is, as Carly's lecture intensifies. Carly slams the podium, declaring only rigorous training makes a true knight. While a student mutters, she's a young boomer. Outside, students complain about Carly's harsh speech, wishing Sir Duke had continued. Zeke watches them, noting Carly's advice a little effect, then focuses on Diego. Diego, beaming, waves goodbye, saying his 5 hours of composition lit a fire in his soul and his Valhalla tour is over. Zeke muses Diego's departure might be for the better, allowing him to focus on talent scouting and searching for Terracon's secret library. With a determined look, Zeke turns to leave, his cape billowing as he heads off on his own mission. Just as Zeke departs, a voice calls out, Zeke Draker, halting him. Carly, the white silver knight, stands before him, requesting a moment of his time. They relocate to the Valhalla public training room, standing at opposite ends. Carly, radiating power, holds her glowing blue sword, a challenge in her eyes. Zeke's gaze sharpens, scrutinizing his sister and her formidable weapon. He internally questions if that's the legendary mithril sword gifted by the Holy Kingdom. Indeed, the Holy Kingdom, grateful for her pirate purge, presented Carly with the pure mithril sword and armor. This very gear earned Carly her renowned alias, the White Silver Knight. Carly directly tells Zeke she wants him to demonstrate his full abilities. Zeke realizes this is a duel, suspecting Carly heard of his Blue Knight level aura blade usage. Zeke confidently presents himself, a massive, ornate sword resting on his shoulder. His gloved hand firmly grips the hilt, adorned with a striking dragon emblem. Zeke recalls Carly's demand to reveal his full power, his sword already humming with blue energy. He declares he'll comply, then defiantly states, but unfortunately I can't do that. Blue aura flaring. Zeke internally questions why he'd reveal his true extent, knowing others are watching. He knows the Draker family's law of the jungle means revealing Red Knight abilities invites assassination. Zeke resolves that showing his full hand is reserved for when he surpasses the Patriarch. He acknowledges needing his family's name but has no intention of obeying their dictates. A sudden burst of energy erupts between them, signaling the duel's explosive start. Carly and Zeke clash, their radiant blue swords meeting in a shower of sparks and power. Zeke gasps, surprised by the sheer force as their blue aura-infused swords meet. Carly, the White Silver Knight, presses her advantage, their blades locked in a fierce struggle. A thin cut appears on Zeke's cheek as a system message confirms an administrator's request. Zeke internally notes his healing factor is paused, wary of Carly discovering his secret. He grimly recalls his past, determined not to repeat mistakes made when facing Duke. Carly unleashes a flurry of swift, powerful strikes, pushing Zeke onto the defensive. Her glowing sword descends with immense force, met by Zeke's unwavering gaze. The training room floor shatters as a colossal wave of blue energy explodes outwards. From their impact, Zeke, bleeding slightly, wonders if he must reveal his Red Knight abilities to stand a chance. The ground cracks and splinters violently from the sheer power of their ongoing duel. Carly soars into the air, her blue sword poised for a devastating downward slash. She plummets towards Zeke, her mithril sword a streak of deadly blue light. With incredible force, Carly's blade crashes down, aimed directly at Zeke. A blinding explosion of blue energy erupts as their swords meet once more. The training room is instantly choked with dust and flying debris from the shockwave. Their blades grind together. Carly notes internally that most swords would have shattered by now. Impressed, Carly compliments Zeke. That is an excellent sword, as blue energy swirls around them. Zeke strains, his teeth gritted, as another powerful shockwave emanates from their locked swords. The entire training room floor is now a web of deep cracks and shattered stone. Zeke, sweating and marked, grimly thinks, I knew it. A full-on battle against a red while limiting my aura to blue levels is. Carly taunts Zeke. Are you letting your guard down just because you created this much distance between us? A chillingly wide, determined grin spreads across Carly's face, her eyes blazing with blue power. Zeke recalls Carly's forgotten title before White's Silver Knight, the Giant's Blade. High above, Carly unleashes an immense vertical slash of blue aura, a colossal blade descending upon Zeke. Zeke's eyes widen in shock, blood trickling from his lip as the overwhelming attack nears. The Giant's Blade slams into the training room floor, erupting in a devastating explosion of energy. Carly lands amidst the shattered ground, her glowing sword ready, surveying the destruction. Through the settling dust, Zeke's massive sword stands defiantly embedded in the ruined floor. The impact has carved a deep crater, Zeke's blade the sole object standing firm in its center. Carly, slightly panting, mutters with a hint of surprise, Damn, I didn't hold back in. Carly's eyes widen in disbelief, her surprise evident. A cloud of dust and energy swirls violently from an unexpected direction. From a fresh hole blasted through the training room wall, Zeke calmly steps out. He brushes dust from his hand, internally satisfied with his performance. Zeke smirks, slightly battered but undaunted, asking Carly, How was it? Did you like it?